All right then. Hello, willkommen.
Ni hao.
Jambo.
Marhaba.
Time for another Amish Inquisition after a short sojourn of 2 weeks. Episode 371 on Sunday, the 6th of April. I'm Phil.
And I'm Matt.
And tonight we're joined by Ryan Seven. How you doing, Ryan Seven?
What up, the peeps? Yeah, I'm doing well, yeah.
Good to have you here. I just need to adjust the crook of my microphone.
Crook.
Not the crook of my staff. Crook of my microphone. How are we all doing?
Good.
Yeah, good.
Sunday.
Sunny day as well.
Are we going to deconstruct something this evening?
That's the plan. Well, we did an esoteric Hollywood style podcast, about 2 months ago, maybe? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Beginning of the year, we talked about lots of different films and esoteric elements within them. And then one of us had the bright idea of picking a film to focus on.
I think you actually picked I think I suggested it and you
Yeah.
targeted it and went, yeah, that one.
You suggested, you asked me, I think you asked me, have you ever seen The Holy Mountain by Alejandro Jodorowsky? And I went, who?
Have you ever seen The Holy Mountain, everybody out there? If you've not, I think you should.
Yes. But you might not need to after tonight, because we're going to go through it in fine detail and pick it apart as best we can in the time we have this evening.
How many pages of notes do you have? Phil?
16.
16 pages.
You
16
really have
pages of notes.
16 pages of notes.
515 slides.
Sounds like one of my normal episodes.
Tell you what, I watched it on Sunday or Monday, and I'll be honest, I struggled with the first sort of 20 minutes. There is no dialogue for the first 30 minutes. There's no exposition. You're just thrown in at the deep end, and you're thinking, what is going on? What am I watching? Where am I? But once I got over that first hurdle, that first sort of 20 minutes, and like Theseus following Ariadne's thread through the labyrinth, there was a semblance of a story that I was able to cling on to, which got me more intrigued. And I mean, you want to find out what's at the top of the Holy Mountain once you actually get into it. Once the sort of narrative picks up, that's the main goal. So yeah, I was thoroughly impressed. I thought it was an impressive film. The set design, the costumes, the whoever his location spotter is.
Yeah.
There's some mental places where they're filmed, and you're looking, you're thinking, that has to be a matte painting. There's no way that building exists.
Oh, right, yeah.
You just don't. I don't think there are any.
No.
Very few, if any, matte paintings used.
I didn't see one, no.
No, I think it's all proper locations, these mad places they've scouted. One of them, towards the end, it looks like Chichen Itza, somewhere. There's a South American connection throughout the film.
What is from South America?
It's Chilean French.
Chilean, yeah.
Yeah.
Trained by Marcel Marceau.
That's right. He started off as a mime artist. Born in 1929. Still posting on Insta at the age of 96 this week.
Wow, okay.
Is Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Tarotist.
Well, he's written a book on the tarot, I saw.
He's republished one of the Marseille decks as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Filmmaker, author, psychotherapist.
Have you ever seen his psychotherapy sessions?
No.
Very impressive. He basically, imagine a table. There are several people of various ages and sexes around the table. And he goes in, he clocks each one of them, sits down next to each one of them, and like one after another, they're like, "Oh my God, you can't that, how could you know that?" Gets another one crying. And he can tell by the way you've got daddy problems and your dad treated you like, he's like weird.
Really?
Almost shamanic, yeah. Almost like psychic shamanic stuff. He's taking out tarot cards and looking at one for inspiration, and then just instantly these people are breaking down. It's mad, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, using the word shamanism, because again, there is a shaman in the film. There's the Chilean connection. A lot of the locations look like Peru, Bolivia, that sort of area. So I wonder if he has some shamanic connections, maybe familiarly. Oh
yeah, to the curanderos. Yeah, maybe. But, I mean, that kind of mysticism is much more a part of that society and much more accessible. You know, there's an old lady doing it round the corner.
No.
Yeah.
More part of everyday life. And assuming I don't know where I should have found out where he actually grew up, but if he grew up, in the 1930s over there, again, it's further back in time, less less Western influence. There would
Yeah.
have been more of that sort of earthy
That
knowledge.
almost like, well, you got to think like the Wild West that carried on in those areas for a lot longer. You know, that frontier kind of attitude. But again, you got all these clashes of cultures. The guy clearly has a cosmopolitan view of this kind of shamanism as well. Though the nature of the film is made is, you know, it's alchemy, tarot, astrology. You know, it's the actual Western tradition.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, very much Western tradition heavy.
Mm.
I was expecting, because you're thinking he's connected to the Beatles somehow. It's made in the early 70s. I'm going to see a lot of Eastern Buddhic, you know, so because the Beatles were heavily influenced later on by that sort of stuff. So,
well, George Harrison funded the film.
Right, and John and Yoko, didn't they? Didn't they chip in as well?
Oh, probably, yep.
I think John and Yoko chipped
They're
in.
both mental too.
And it was someone's manager, Alan Klein. Was it the Beatles' manager? It says produced by. But
He'd made a previous film called El Topo, which the lead character in that's called Hans Olo, and yeah, obviously predating Star Wars.
well, that's an interesting connection because this came out in '73 at a budget of 750,000, the same year as American Graffiti, with pretty much the same budget. George Lucas's first film.
What?
That's a synchronicity.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I would say, although American Graffiti is a much more watchable film, the mark that it's made on culture, even though at the time American Graffiti was, you know, quite a little nostalgia trip and quite important-ish, you know, a bit of a cult film. Holy Mountain is a lot of a cult film, and although not many people have seen it, it whacks you. It leaves this indelible mark on you. All those images, all those symbols, that you know, they get to you.
Yeah. So let's start with a synopsis and get into the weeds on this shit. A Christ-like figure wanders through bizarre, grotesque scenarios filled with religious and sacrilegious imagery. He meets a mystical guide who introduces him to 7 wealthy and powerful people, each representing a planet in the solar system. These 7, along with the protagonist, the guide, and the guide's assistant, divest themselves of their worldly goods and form a group of 9 who will seek the holy mountain in order to displace the gods who live there and become immortal.
Oh, that's a great synopsis, mate. Well written. Very good.
It's off your Wikipedia, that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I copied and pasted that.
Oh, no.
Ah, sorry. So the title sequence, it starts with this image of the 2 women, and then we have the main man there, the alchemist, all dressed in black, who's played by Alejandro himself.
We have bongos and humming in the background. Oh, is it? Is it that, or is it?
I think it's more of a doing.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
And
It's his cool hat.
He's kind of going through some sort of ritual, isn't he?
Yeah, he's initiating 2 priestesses into, well, the first rites of the mysteries, which is a purification, which are themes that pop up all over this film. There's lots of purification going on, it being a thing of many stages. But he is the alchemist.
Yeah. This is all going on during the credits, while they throw out the opening credits. The divesting, so he removes the jewelry, a fingernail for some reason, maybe the false nails.
I think it's it's the decoration.
Decoration, yeah. The makeup comes off in this one. The hair, gotta get rid of your hair. You end up looking like Sigourney Weaver in Alien 3.
No lava though.
No, no child aliens. Clothing. I had to be very careful doing all my screen grabs because
there's a lot of nudity in this film.
I think there's nudity
Top and bottom.
in every scene.
I heard it described as nudity.
Yeah, I was wondering how you were going to get around that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we managed. I found this image interesting.
Can I just say something about this first scene? Could you flip back to a relevant picture?
I don't know what's relevant.
Just the degarmenting, you know, like the cleansing yourself. So this kind of mystery goes right back to Sumeria, to the tale of Inanna, who is Venus. Venus, after it's done his little cycle where you can see it, it spends a few days. It seems to us that it spends a few days in the underworld, 7 days in the underworld. And over each day, as she enters into the mysteries of the underworld, which are the unconscious, Inanna takes off her clothes, she takes off her jewelry, she takes off her girdle and takes off her clothes as she strips down. And it's a purification thing, but it's also this letting go of your mortal self, these bonds, these resistors that make us mortal. You just letting go of each one. Might be worrying about eating, hunger, simple thing like that. Hunger goes, time goes, your ego goes, all these things. It's the beginning of the mystery journey, but it's done here symbolically more than anything. It's to prime you. You become a talisman. That's an interesting thought.
You're kind of being initiated just by watching the film.
Yeah. It is, absolutely. That's what it is.
The dissolution of the ego is a key concept that goes throughout the film, and it's just obviously relevant.
It only took you 20 minutes. It took that first 20 minutes to get over that strange effect that the film gives, that feeling of being lost, and then you gave it up. You were still lost, but then you gave it up.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I've been initiated. The credits continue, and I just picked up this image of a key, and it's been encapsulated in a piece of jewelry the shape of a heart, and I just thought that was a nice image. Again, going back to all this stuff is made for the purposes of this film, and the amount of work that must have gone in production is astounding.
For a relatively cheap film as well, because there is a lot of production value in this film.
Well, I said the budget was 750 grand. Same year, The Exorcist came out, and I think the budget for that was 10-12 million.
Wow, as much as that?
Yeah. Well, fake vomit's pretty expensive. No.
Yeah.
Old priests.
I mean, it's not very lavish in terms of time taken, I don't think, this film. I don't think they spent a lot of time on the setups, but they have spent a lot of time on the costumes and the amount of people in there and all these the actual set pieces, rather than getting the camera right and the shots right.
Yeah. There's a lot of sort of peacock imagery during the title sequences. We get these eyes and the sort of peacock feathers.
The many colors. It's third eye symbology. It's the many colors of the peacock feathers is like the many colors visible by the third eye, by the opened eye.
And peacocking is almost a verb, isn't it? We associate peacocks with being like a showy off animal. Which again is getting back to the sort of the psyche of the individual and how we are sort of obsessed with our egos and how other people perceive us. I mean, what better animal than a peacock to sort of encapsulate how we view perceptions of others that engage with us? Because the peacock's all showy for the purposes of finding a mate.
Then I'm gonna read this into it, but then there's the double analogy that sometimes that consciousness and competence and confidence looks like peacocking as well, even though actually it's many eyes opened. And sometimes people can get, not jealous, but misunderstand somebody's confidence and think that it is peacocking when it is actually just amazing competence.
Yeah. Good point.
I read that into it, but still.
No, that's what we're here for. Right, first proper scene, we're introduced to the protagonist. He's in a bad way. He's in the credits. The character's called the Thief.
But he's the fool. He is the fool from the tarot.
The thief/fool.
Yeah, the fool.
My notes.
Yeah. He's the thief because he's stealing from himself. That's what he's doing. He's it's all ego. Ego is the thief.
And he's called the Thief outright by the alchemist in a later scene, which we'll get to.
Is that the scene in which you suddenly got switched onto the film?
No. As soon as they started introducing the planets, I was like, oh, yes, I'm into this.
Okay, cool.
I'm into this. He's sort of, the Thief is sort of pestilence personified, according to my notes. He's got bottles of liquor around him. He's unconscious, led in his own piss and covered in flies.
Yeah.
I mean...
So I'm pretty sure those are dead flies, but I think he's covered in dead flies.
Yeah.
Do you not think they've just put some syrup on his face and left him for a bit?
They give him the boats.
Oh no, I think I
That's a
think they
callback to 200 episodes ago.
because I don't think they move. They're just like dead flies stuck to his
stuck to him.
face.
Gross.
Yeah. The camera point pans to the side, and this is where we see these tarot cards. You mentioned the Fool.
Yep.
And is it... what's the other card there?
They're both the Fool. Just from 2 different decks.
Oh, right. We've got another card coming up.
So I should say something about the Fool briefly to everybody.
Yeah.
The Fool is like the initiate card. It's there's 2 versions of it. There's like a wizened version of it, who would be someone like Doctor who acts the Fool, but he's actually very smart. But there's the initiate version, which is this guy who is just an absolute village idiot. He's got no idea what he's doing. He's the human born into themselves, paying attention to the natural urges and doing nothing but that. You're just an idiot, you know. As he's drank himself to sleep, peed himself, and got covered in flies.
Yeah.
Le crocodile.
The crocodile, you'll see in a second. Actually, maybe if you've put a picture of the kids stoning the.
There is a crocodile, isn't there? Yeah.
That's coming in a minute.
So these kids are stoning the Fool because he's allowing he's just allowing people and things to do what they want to him. But one of the kids wears a crocodile shawl. So what is this? So on an esoteric level, the Fool is kind of like a Dionysus dissolution character, and that crocodile is the possible absolute dissolution if you do anything too far. If you take too many drugs, if you drink too much, if you go and do something boyish and stupid on a motorbike, something like that. There's this crocodile waiting to devour you, as there is in these mysteries. It gets, you can really play about with your mental health when you're looking into this stuff, because there's so many fakes and blinds to it that, you can look like you're reading Devil Worship or something like that, and it's not. It's just a Scooby-Doo style. No, it's somebody else underneath it, and that thing is these secrets. So they hide it under scary things often. So it can drive you a bit mad. So you got to be careful of this crocodile of dissolution.
Right.
The Macaron crocodile. Tauret, the hippopotamus Egyptian god that will devour your soul if your heart's not as light as a feather.
Right. Cool. So we're introduced to a paraplegic here, and he has a tarot card on his back. Is it the 5 of Swords?
I can't see from here.
It's hard to tell.
Like a hand,
four of
isn't it?
swords? 5, yeah, there's 5 swords there. I could see a 5th.
Yeah, it's
five-
like a
5
hand,
hands.
isn't it?
Oh, is it swords?
I don't know. It
Could be
looks like people.
It does. The 5 of Peeps. I can't tell. I don't know that deck. I would assume.
Anyway,
I would assume it's probably Earth, 5 of Earth, which is
Coins, no?
Yeah, coins.
Answers on a postcard. Hey, put it in the chat.
It's worry. It's worry. It's like stress and worry and the weight of the world just grinding you up.
He comes and gives the thief.
Oh, he's got no hands.
He's no hands and like missing leg, and he clears the flies off the protagonist, and enter a troop of naked boys.
Yeah.
And they come, and there's this weird scene where they sort of put a flower into the protagonist, the thief's hand, and withdraw, and it creates like a stigmata in his palm. Which, I mean, the guy kind of looks like the archetypical Jesus figure.
He does, yeah.
So when you see the stigmata, you think, oh, that's interesting. Is this meant to be Jesus or a Messiah figure or what? And you kind of sort of trying to work this stuff out while you're...
Yeah,
and then sorry.
Put into context, George Harrison had that haircut as well. This is the era of that haircut and beard as well.
Right.
So it's becoming like an everyman image too, and that comes in there later on.
I didn't even think of that watching it because, this came out in 73 and I'm watching it in that cultural milieu.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching Rogue One where they give them all haircuts from 1977.
I like that.
Yeah, it's nice touch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually cared. The little boys carry him away. He's still in his stupor.
Yeah, there's your crocodile there.
There's a crocodile there. Crocodile. And they crucify him and stone him.
Ooh.
Yeah, but it's good because it wakes him from his stupor.
Yes.
He's been unconscious for the first 5 minutes of the film. And the stoning and the conscious is a good word. Brings him back to consciousness. He comes,
in order to
scream.
become conscious, you need to get stoned.
Well, he comes back to consciousness, screams at the kids, so they run off, and then they get baked.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. But it's that temporary. So this little paraplegic guy, he represents the monkey on his back, essentially, which is dopamine. It's that dopamine system is the best way of looking at it. And there you go, smoking dope.
Becomes much more relevant in the third act when they travel to the holy mountain.
Yes.
He has a decision to make regarding the monkey
His
on
monkey.
his back. So next scene, the thief and should we call him the monkey from now on? I don't know what.
Let's call him the monkey. He seems a bit mean considering his disposition in life. But
I think in the credits is the monster.
Yeah,
which is even worse. So we'll call him monkey.
Monkey.
He's
baked. Cool though. He's the baked. Yeah, the monkey will do.
The baker.
They go around the town. They get baked, and they walk into the town, and there's people being sort of publicly executed. These figures, they're bound behind, hands behind the back, across the legs. They've got their mouths taped up like they've been censored.
Yep. And they're shot with what looks like ink as well. And I would say they look like blue collar workers more than most of the folk that you see in this film that have similar things done to them.
Right. I assumed that they had black blood when they were shot. For some reason. But you're saying that they're shot with ink.
Well, that's my impression. I mean, obviously, he's going down. This is the point where I think it becomes a real art film. Before it's just been this silent, odd surrealism, but now we're actually having beautiful images rendered, and I love this paint being fired at people. I think it's the squibs or whatever they are.
We get a parade of I don't know whether you call them like the army or the police or the arm of the state.
Yeah.
The like soldiers who've got hard hats on, not like construction hard hats, like army hard hats on, and uniforms, and they're all carrying these sort of crucified sheep, I believe they are.
Yeah, it's like sacrificial lambs. I figure it's because obviously this is the city. This is what's being depicted, and the city is essentially so the lamb in the zodiac is like the life force of the spring. It's like getting up in the morning. It's that it's that energy and urge you have to do things with just by the fact that you're alive. So people sacrifice this to the city. That part of you is what gets in the car in the morning and drives to work and is bothered and does all. By the time you get home, you've not got that life force quite so much anymore. That's the thing that you're sacrificing. So that's what I see that parade as being.
Just want to check with the chat. Can everyone see what we're showing? Because Restream's still showing the title screen.
Yeah, I think it's frozen because
what's frozen?
If you go back to Restream,
yeah,
chat's not up to date.
Yeah, that's odd. I don't want to refresh it.
That's the chat though, isn't it?
Yeah, I've not been looking at the chat, so I wouldn't know if we've got any issues on the video. Yeah, we can, Emma. Thanks, Emma.
Thanks, Emma.
Lifesaver. I was panicking there.
We love you, Emma.
So, we're having this we've got people being executed on the street. We've got this army parade of crucified sheep, and we've got this image of like the upper classes prostrating themselves.
Yeah, that's that same thing.
Yeah, people in tuxedos and ball gowns on the knees, arms out, worshipping the parade of crucified sheep, which is interesting.
The sacrifice of the life force. That's what it is for making money and doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Decadence.
And then we get more executions, and we get this weird tourist vibe. So we've got piles of people being executed, and these tourists on a bus getting off and filming everything, and
the spectacle made of it all, and the lionizing all the soldiers and the power they have over the people.
I thought that this was an interesting image. There's a lad who's been killed. He's been shot in the heart, and these birds fly out of the heart. It kind of makes me think, when you think of a bird as being like a symbol of the spirit, like the dove.
The soul. Yeah, absolutely.
That sort of, the bird, would you say that represents the soul leaving the body? I thought that was a nice touch.
Looks great on camera as well.
Yeah, real birds, man.
Yeah, they're so visceral. It's like...
No CG here.
Yeah. And because they're not like magnificently framed shots, because that's not magnificently framed, but there's something gritty about it, and yeah, there's a grit in this whole film. Again, like I've seen this so many times that I don't see like the nudity and the violence and the the extreme in it, but it is in places it is a grotty film, but live it is grotty.
That's just occurred to me. That's an interesting observation about the framing of the shot, because it's obvious as you watch the film that he is a master at framing shots. You see these overhead shots that he uses to depict certain things. That leads me to believe that this was a conscious choice to frame it in this way, to make it more feel like a boots on the ground.
Yeah, boots on the ground.
Like these, K80, I'm here in Lebanon for BBC News kind of thing. Yeah, good observation.
Oh.
We have
Rudy
one of the tourists. She is getting raped,
and she's happy about it.
She loves it.
She starts to enjoy it.
And is that her husband?
Yeah,
filming. Do we think?
Yeah,
and he goes over, doesn't he? There we go.
Yeah. Has a photo with it.
Yeah,
They got
lovely.
the tourist hats on. Yeah.
It's the husband asks the thief or protagonist to hold the camera and do the filming.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, interesting. That's the end of that scene. The next scene we go to, going back to this Peruvian South American theme, is the circus, the Great Toad and Chameleon Circus.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The Conquest of Mexico, it's called, and we got this guy with a swastika on his head.
It's like a Mad Hatter, like with
a Mad Hatter Nazi, or is it a traditional swastika? That one.
I'm assuming it's
a Mad Hatter Nazi.
Yeah,
Right,
I want him
okay.
to be a Mad Hatter Nazi.
Right. Okay.
You got these guys on the right who are putting the show on, and they hire the thief and the monkey on his back.
Yeah.
They want to earn a job. They want to get some job. They've recovered from their
Stupid.
stupid.
Dried out the urine.
They've got the munchies and they've no money. So they take a job, and they're basically like hype men.
Yeah.
For the Great Toad and Chameleon Circus. The monkey starts banging the drum, and our protagonist, the thief, starts acting like a toad.
A toad,
and
yes. Well,
jumping all over the
they're
place.
selling themselves out, literally. He's like, yeah, I'm not even a man. He's giving away his humanity, and now I'm now just one of these toads.
Yeah, mental. So the show starts, and again, so much work went into this movie, man. You get all these costumes for
chameleons. I need 1,000 chameleon costumes.
They're actually bearded dragons, aren't they?
yeah, or maybe I think iguanas, maybe
Horned.
little iguanas.
No, I don't think they're iguanas.
Too small for them, maybe.
Yeah, I think they're either water dragons or bearded lizards.
They've got
Look at
like
its hat.
headdresses on. It's bonkers.
Quetzalcoatl.
Wow, the plumed serpent.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of work has gone into this, and then we have the approach of the conquistadors. So the guys running the show, they sort of pull these boats.
I love them in the little brown robes there. It's so funny. How long did it take to dress all these toads?
Exactly, there he is.
My God.
There's a toad in his brown robe. He's got the crucifix on his standard.
Yes.
The ships are bearing the white flag with the red cross on it. A la the Santa Maria, Columbus's ship, and Templars.
Templar, yeah.
All that stuff. It's Christianity coming to sort out those heathens in Peru, is it? I can't remember.
Yeah, Peru.
Chile or Peru.
And yeah, so they dump all these toads on this massive set where the iguanas represent the
locals,
the local population, and the toads kick their asses basically, and it turns into a bloodbath.
It literally though, he's got like air cannons and he's blowing up in the air. I don't think all those toads made it, frankly.
No, yes, I mean there is a lot of toad.
What I don't get is that Alejandro Jodorowsky is clearly something of an enlightened character, but that he's willing to. I mean, it's just air and powder. That it's not like it's hot or anything.
Yeah.
But those, I mean, I know toads can go high, but I think some of those toads might have gone high in two pieces.
Well, yeah, I think Phil was talking about this before, wasn't it? It's like 52 years old, this film, isn't it?
I think it's, I didn't say before, I was telling Matt earlier, but I had problems with some of the scenes, like there's the dogfighting scene, which kind of upset me.
Yeah.
But you have to sort of take yourself out and say, well, it's of its time.
No, well, it's meant to upset you. This is meant to upset. He's doing this to upset you. The dog bit is at a moment that, I mean, there's other things going on in that dog bit, but he's meant to upset you. He's trying to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not Hollywood. He's trying to initiate you. And that's like coming to terms with all these things. And one of them is that cycle of life and death. Look, they knew full well, even in those days, that the Aztecs weren't exactly innocent of
sacrifice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the blood rolling down the steps of the Chichen Itza pyramids. I mean, yeah, that was caused by human sacrifice in a bygone age. So we're led to believe.
Mm-hmm.
There's another comment on filmmaking I'd like to make. Before the toads arrive, you've got various shots. We saw them of the iguanas or chameleons, whatever there are, and you have this sort of peaceful Peruvian South American music. And as soon as the ships arrive, you get the beating drums, the drums of war, the militaristic soundtrack, which I thought was, I mean, good.
I find the music in this either really good or bloody cacophonous, and it's neither, never between. It's either, oh, I love this, or oh god, that's awful.
So they put on a good show, and they get a big wedge of cash. Our protagonist with the monkey on his back, they're happy.
Oh, this scene's just brilliant. Like, if this doesn't like burn its way into your brain.
I've called this scene "Christ's for Sale," and you get this image of there's a banner there, Christ for Sale. You've got the Virgin Mary there, chopping up an ox or something, and you've got these crucifixes for sale and these Roman legionaries. I like the way they're purposely fat, because no one was fat in the 70s. These guys are massively overweight. I mean, it's representing the decadence of the late Western Roman Empire when Christianity was taken on board under Constantine, and how things were falling apart. I would suggest. I think it's obviously a constant, conscious choice to make them so overweight. And we get the tourist and his wife appearing again, and he's going to carry he's bought a cross, and he's going to carry it away. But Mother Mary beckons the thief over and says, "No, you carry it for him. You and your monkey on your back." So they end up carrying it away.
In Egypt, towards the end, rather than have to pay your way through the afterlife and have the balanced heart, you could buy tokens that were like forgiveness spells for your previous misdeeds, a lot like the Catholic forgiveness thing, but you paid for it. This is the same thing here. That buy this. You got this cross to carry. Oh, you can pay somebody else to carry it for you. He's the fool that's doing it.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I had it in my notes. When we see Mary and she's carving up this bull to eat, I wondered if there was a analogy there to Mithraism. That Mithraism has been superseded by Christianity in this image. The bull's been slain, is being gorged on, and
certainly the bull of paganism. I would definitely say that.
Yeah, because bulls go back to Baal, forever.
Well, all the way back,
yeah,
all the way back.
But we got New Kid on the Block here with this crucifix, and so he carries the cross over.
He's just the latest iteration, isn't he?
Yeah, and again, they're getting pissed up, these Roman soldiers. Again, it's just playing on that decadence of late Western Rome, and they get the protagonist, the thief, pissed as well. Say, "Oh, have a drink."
Like, come on, it was great. We're your friend, and then take advantage of it.
Well, we've learnt that he can't handle his ale already, haven't we? And he passes out, and the Romans have to carry him off. Oh, Jesus, thief figure.
A great scene.
Oh, it's kind of weird. They take plaster out of another ox.
I think it's a piggy.
A pig, isn't it?
Is it a pig? A white? Oh yeah,
big fat,
a sow type thing, animal.
So we're saying it's fat rather than plaster.
Well, I think it looks like fat.
Supposed to be fat.
They cover him in fat before they put plaster on him, don't they?
Oh, right. Okay.
Grease him
yeah.
up.
I can see there now. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they put these tubes up his nose, lay him out in a crucifix shape, and make a cast of him.
Yep.
It's very evocative, isn't it?
Mm.
It's like it's the sacrifice of his self-image basically, and the corporatization of his own image, and that having that sold to him, and it exploited and being sold to other people as well.
Mm. There's something about this shot, and I don't know where it's from.
It's a painting, isn't it? That
I'm sure it is a Renaissance painting, but I didn't have time to go and look because there's loads of them.
I wanted to.
I'm pretty sure that is a famous
Pose.
Yeah.
That's being recreated.
When she gets him down off the cross, isn't it? You would think.
Well, there's a lift or something there on the left, which could look like the pole of the cross. And it's Mary sat with Jesus.
And Mary is also a man.
Yeah.
A dame, you might say.
Well, it's because it's that fall of Rome stuff, is that everything's gotten messed around and corrupted. Like even the image of Mary is under a patriarchal system, even though the whole Mary thing wasn't really in Christianity until later on. It's just that goddess aspect is in the universe. People, particularly working class people, really appreciate that image of the mother. So it came back.
Right.
But that's really a folklore more than a Christian veneration. Obviously, it became that, especially in Catholicism.
You mentioned in Anna earlier, Mary essentially took that role. Queen of Heaven, Star of the Sea, she's often known as. These are the same names for Inanna, Ishtar, Astarte. Name your female goddess.
Well,
Isis.
Yeah, it's that female force, which comes in later when he says, the same force which the ox uses to receive the vulture is the same force the vulture uses to grip the ox.
That's a very good impression.
Like that?
Sound just like it. He awakes.
You are excrement. You will turn you into gold.
He awakes from his stupor to find himself surrounded by these images and goes fucking batshit.
And the camera pulls back and you see all these Jesuses lined up and it's gorgeous.
Again,
and the scream, that primal scream.
That's exactly what I wrote down. Primal scream. He composes himself. Well, we'll get to that. But again, how long to make all these molds and paint them?
Yeah.
So much work went into this shit, man. But he composes himself and he goes and twats the Romans, basically.
Like they're turning the tables in the temple. But he's not Jesus.
No.
He's not Jesus. This is the thing. It's like they've deified his image even though he's the fool. This is how corrupted all this is. It's the fall of Rome.
He whips the shit out of the Romans and Mother Mary and starts going on the rampage, destroying these idols, hundreds and hundreds of them. Screaming away, and then he gets to the last one, and he can't get rid of that last one, and he's sad.
Yeah, that last part of his own image of what he was, of the fool.
He can't let it go.
No.
Yet.
No.
He saves one idol and is sad. End scene. So, Act 1, Scene 6, the prostitutes.
As if it could get any weirder.
And the chimp.
And the chimp,
and an old man.
Is that a real chimp?
Yes.
In amongst the prostitutes?
Yeah.
He appears throughout the film. These prostitutes are plying their wares to men outside a church. They start off in the church and they're looking at a picture of an idol of Jesus with tears. And then they leave the church and they start plying their wares. I couldn't take many screen grabs of this scene.
No.
Because most of their boobies are on show.
Yeah, they're wearing see-through tops, aren't they?
Yeah, so they come out the church in the thigh-high leather boots and whatnot. And they start there's a crowd of men surrounding them.
I mean, that just go back one.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, again, when you're talking about locations and stuff. To find like a church like that surrounded by almost kind of brutalist
city
architecture.
corporate. The signage everywhere around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not on the outside of the church, other than the sort of the crenulation,
Crenulation.
stonemasonry shit.
Yeah.
There is some Freemasonry allusions throughout this film, which we might pick up on. But one of the prostitutes, and again, this is something that I found really unsettling, is a little girl.
Yeah.
And this man.
Oh, yeah, this was
This
weird.
old man, yeah.
He looks like the guy from Poltergeist. He beckons her over and kisses her hand, pulls out a false eye.
As you do.
And puts it in the palm of the child.
I wonder how much she was paid for. Paid to hold his...
You know, she's
wet
not looking.
eye.
I know that. She's like,
Yeah.
look over here, and she's, let's put this into context, right? So, obviously, you got the prostitutes with the monkey. Well, that's it's your animal monkey self just going about its monkey business, putting itself on display, exchanging its wares. You know, we know monkeys do this kind of stuff. Prostitution's the oldest business. But this idiot here, this guy who's also a fool, he's willing to just give up everything that he's got. You know, he's willing to even give up his eye just to have a chance of something that's not going to love him. It's just a business contract.
Yeah.
And even he's so corrupt that it's a little girl. Is that he'll corrupt that innocence, no problem. He'll give up his eye for it.
So our protagonist and his monkey, with his last remaining idol, they run into this group of prostitutes outside the church. One of which starts to cleanse the idol. I got Magdalene vibes here in my head, in my sort of head canon. For the rest of the film, I was calling her Magdalene. So,
what you can say about these women is they are temple prostitutes. They came out of a church.
Yeah.
So there's something holy about that service and that mystery of dead is sex. I mean, a lot of these mysteries are based on sex because of the polarity and duality that's inherent in that, and the alchemical wedding, which is the fusion of those two things. So, yeah, the sacred prostitute is a big deal. They're the kind of oracles, aren't they? Sacred prostitutes.
It's a big thing in the classical world to have temple prostitutes.
Huge, yeah.
And then you had like the Vestals, which were the sort of exact opposite. If you got messed around with a Vestal virgin, you were in deep shit.
Yeah,
you
that
were
was it.
dead.
You were dead.
Dead. But they did have temple prostitutes as well.
Got to do something.
But I like this. As soon as I saw like the washing of the feet, I just thought of the New Testament story. I thought, oh, well, that's Magdalene, or an analogy maybe for Magdalene.
Yeah, well, that analogy isn't for your feet, and you're not washing the feet. Let's put it like that. For a prostitute, why would a prostitute wash your feet?
Maybe they stink.
Is he washing something else?
He's washing somewhere. She's washing somewhere else. Yeah.
He carries his idol away.
Clean now though.
It is clean. Yeah,
got the green stuff off.
Some green stuff on it. They start to follow him. The prostitutes. Look, he's got his little pack of followers already. But alas, they get distracted here as they walk past a church. There's a dance going on. There's sort of men and soldiers. So they're like doing slow dancing. And it's a soldier and a man paired together. I don't know what this is supposed to symbolize off the top of my head.
So it's like that love of men's love of fighting and war, and women's like as spectators to that. You know, I'm not speaking for everybody, but women and soldiers and and tough guys and stuff like that, and war and the bread and circuses of it all. But yeah, it's that people's love for war. And accepting those things. They like hating other people.
So the thief carrying his idol makes his way through this gaggle to the back of the church where the altar is. And I like this.
It's not been used.
I really like this. The textures in the scene are great. And really, it's grotesque.
All the sort of icons are on the altar. You got candles and the book and whatnot. And they're all decrepit and full of cobwebs.
Tarnished.
It's dying.
Yeah.
The book's got maggots in it because, this
squashed slugs.
This is the state of the theology maybe is implying here. But we've got this freshly cleaned idol.
Yes.
Yep.
Which the thief installs
Bizarre.
And then he finds a pope under a sheet on a bed which is sunk in the floor. He's wearing shades, the pope, and he's got his leg over with the old idol that would have been in situ.
Are they blinkers or like?
Oh,
So he can't see.
Well, yeah,
blind.
It
He's choosing to be
seems to
blind.
suggest more he's a bit blind than anything, doesn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
That's the way I would go.
I just spotted what's that on the pillow there?
The Return of the Jedi bedspread.
Yeah, I don't know. See, the more you watch this, the more you realise that very little is done by accident in this when they're choosing things. Anyway, this Pope priest fella, he ain't happy with the new idol being installed, and he kicks our mate out on his ear
it's
with
okay.
his idol.
And then
Prostitutes are there at least.
The prostitutes are waiting outside.
And he eats his own face. It looks like marzipan to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was made of cake all this time. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
And carrying that round, Peru.
Devouring your own self-image and the pedestal that you've given it in the end, because he thought it was worthy to, even though he knows it's an image of himself, he thought it was worthy just because it was clean to put on that altar. But it's not. No, so
that wouldn't have lasted anyway, would it?
No.
Kind of talk about putting
Rotten.
yourself on a pedestal, taking a mold of yourself and installing it in a church at the altar.
Even though the church itself is corrupt. I mean, maybe he would have thought, I can bring some light to this place, but I don't think he was. I think he was just like, oh, it's clean now. I can put this here, in this high place. But now it's like, no, it's not good enough. So
that's kind of
got to devour
foreshadowing.
it.
It's kind of foreshadowing that, because there's a scene right close to the end of the film where our thief is about to do a bit of Jesus work, and he's slapped down by the alchemist, saying, "What do you think you are?"
Yeah. What'll
I wonder
happen?
if that's foreshadowing. So anyway, he starts to eat his idol of himself. Then thinks better of it. He ties a bunch of red balloons and a bunch of blue balloons.
A bunch of masculine and feminine. He's become aware of the masculine, and because he's got rid of that ego self-image. He's now become like the universe is somewhat, and the universe, certainly the portion of the universe that we're living in is a place of duality of the masculine and feminine force.
These are like helium balloons. So he ties the reds to one hand of the idol, blue to the other hand, and launches it into the sky. We see, and I had to frame this because you were talking about framing. We've got a broken obelisk. The camera pans out while the
never noticed that.
There's more.
I think that's actually the earlier in the film, isn't it? When he's getting drunk and that, I saw him walk past all the cubes. I'm like, I wonder what all that is. But I see it's the same.
So the camera pans back for a big wide shot, looking down as he's launching this idol with the red and blue balloons. Behind him is a smashed obelisk. It's been toppled. Behind that looks like the entrance to a cave. Caves are a sacred thing since the dawn of humanity.
Yes.
Like Mithraism used to happen in caves, sacred groves, all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sorry,
go on. No.
We have, can you see how the prostitutes are forming a semicircle on one side around him?
Yeah.
They've chosen to shoot it at a time where the sun is casting shadows, which terminate at the Christ figure's feet.
Okay.
Behind the prostitutes is in shadow. I thought that was beautifully done.
All right, yeah. So, some of the shots are effing amazing.
Yeah.
Just generally, it seems a little like didn't have much time.
This isn't by accident.
Oh, no. I think it's fantastic, mate. I just wanted to qualify what I said before.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want you to think that I don't think there's some amazing shots in this film.
I think everything is on purpose, pretty much. Magdalene is sort of stood aside from the prostitutes in like the south position. You've got the monkey on his back alone at sort of 10 o'clock.
But is this east or west? Is it morning or evening?
Good question. I would say it's morning.
I would say it's morning. So I can, if you, before you carry on. So the cave is Plato's cave, which is the cave of your, it's the veil that the universe gives you for being born, and that you got to like lift up that veil. First of all, you got to realize there's a veil, and you got to lift up the veil and look underneath it. It's not obvious. So that's Plato's cave. Everyone's kind of in this cave and doesn't realize there's a real world outside. So you get out of the cave. Then the obelisk is like the consciousness and the ego and the phallic, the masculine principles, one of which is the ego. So that's broken. And it's a thing of strength and support. And obviously an obelisk is to tell the time as well, but we can forget about that. But it's strength and support. And the ego does that for you to much of an extent. But when you break that, something else happens. And we get this masculine and feminine kind of released from that, as I just said a moment ago. These prostitutes gathered around, they're obviously linked to the subconscious, and they're making a moon shape there, a crescent
Crescent
shape.
moon. Feminine. Moon is feminine.
Feminine. And then we've got a pile of people over there.
They're the children who woke him from his stupor. The naked children from his introduction.
So the sun and the moon.
You've got the sun and the moon. Yeah. Youth. You got youth versus worldliness of prostitutes.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a more archetypal symbol of masculine and feminine than an obelisk in a cave? A big hard thing and an empty hole.
Yeah. Well, that is the matrix, and that's the cave is the matrix. The obelisk is the life force, and when these two things come together, that's how the world works. Energy on a membrane.
Yeah, it's incredible. When I was going through it scene by scene, I stopped it because you have to pause. This is only up for a few seconds.
Yeah, I've never known. I'm not in this depth.
When you pause it, you're like, "Holy shit!"
There's
so much. Holy mountain.
Holy mountain, Batman.
I think I've got. Just wanted to make sure there was nothing that was important. Yeah, so the balloons. We've got the children from the first scene, the prostitutes, broken obelisk, cave shadows. So he launches it up into the sky, the idol. And it's an upturned crucifix, which again is evocative because look, I mean, I thought he was tying it to the hands originally there in the first scene, but it's actually tied to the feet. So
the hanged man from the tarot. That's what we're dealing with tarot here as much, probably more than anything else. That's the hanged man. So the sacrifice is made. The sacrifice is your ego, that image of self, and now you can start to become like the universe. And that is that noticing of the masculine and feminine force.
I love the fact that you go to the hanged man because of my Christian upbringing. I go to Peter being crucified upside down. I'm not worthy to be crucified like the Lord crucified me upside down. So
Odin on the world tree hanging upside down for 9 nights while he divines the runes, and the runes are the polarities.
So we cut to like the townsfolk. There's like a scene. It's like a plaza. People have got their trestle tables set up with their sacrifices: grapes, bread, fish. Wow, what could they represent? Wine, bread, and fish. It's the communion. Plus you've got the fish. Well, it's Jesus and loaves and fishes, fisher of men. All this nonsense. And this is such a cool cut. Everyone at the trestle tables starts looking up. Oh, and you're thinking, that's because there's a fucking Jesus on red and blue balloons flying through the sky.
Can you imagine? But he's upside down.
But it cuts hard to the tower.
Yeah.
They're actually looking at this like 100-meter orange tower with a golden hook being lowered from a porthole near the top.
Is that mine?
Your headphones or mic? Headphones, yeah, that one. That better?
Down.
Just down a little bit.
Down, sorry, I killed you. Yeah, it's a nice cut. You think that the townsfolk are staring at this floating crucified man, where actually it cuts hard to the tower, and they're staring at this hook, golden hook, being lowered from the tower. There's a clamp. Sorry, go on.
What archetype's this? We've got some Rapunzelness going on, but we've got this high tower magician in the high tower without even knowing there's a magician in the high tower. That is one of these archetypes, and something being lowered from this heavenly place. special place. Oh, here's an opportunity. Whoa, it's an opportunity.
Beanstalk vibes as well, maybe.
Definitely Beanstalk. It's told slightly differently, but yeah.
The hook is lowered and there's a big clamoring, and that's when you realise that these guys with the trestle tables, they're preparing their sacrifices to be their offerings to be placed on the hook. And in exchange, on the hook, when it reaches the ground, there's a little parcel with some gold in it, like a handful of gold. And our man, the thief, runs over to this giant hook. He throws off, again, you have to watch this scene frame by frame. He throws off bread, grapes, and fish from the hook, grabs a dagger, tucks it down his loincloth, his butt flap, and says, I'm going up there. And he ascends the tower on the fishing hook. And again,
I mean, that looks
did
like
they
a
build this?
I was just gonna say that looks like a real tower, doesn't it?
I'm sure it is a real
It's a
tower.
stuntman.
And it's a stuntman as well. Like, you crazy son of a bitch.
I mean, what is
It's
that?
impressive, that.
I mean, it's got to
know,
be
it's
100
huge as
meters,
well.
isn't it? It's got
Is
to be
it scaffold, do you think? And then like they've quickly rendered it in something.
I don't know, but Fred did have to take it down.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Unless they've done some weird thing with perspective, I don't know.
No, I totally believe that's a real.
100-meter tall.
There's probably some
Scaffolding
industrial thing with this,
That they've-
vent or something. I don't know.
that they've covered in something, maybe.
Break.
I don't know. It's astounding. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
Because it's not a real location. I'm sure they've made it for the film.
Oh, I think it's real.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
But I don't know where
I'll
they've
tell you
made
what, I'll find out.
He clambers up the hook. It's like the call to adventure for me.
Yeah.
Near the top of the tower is like a 2 meter wide porthole, which the thread has been dangling down, which he's now been raised by.
Raise it up.
And
Buttocks.
he clambers through, and it's like a tunnel. Magdalene is still watching from below. He clambers through this porthole, and James Bond vibes.
I know, I was thinking that.
Can I just call her Greek kind of Egyptian features as well? I mean, she's
Magdalene.
yeah, she's obviously a local lass, but she's got this Cleopatra kind of vibe, don't you think?
Looking at you.
Yeah.
Coming at you like Cleopatra.
Yeah, so you're going for like a Mediterranean vibe.
Yeah, just that old world. She's got like an old world vibe about her.
Yeah, good, nice observation. I like that. He clambers through this porthole, and
Got a little bum.
he's got his little bum cracky
Tickle,
hat.
tickle,
The way is obscured, and he
tickle.
takes out.
Hyman.
Oh gosh, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Hyman. Well, he withdraws his dagger and pierces.
Oh, God, it is, isn't it?
Well, I was thinking of the veil. He's piercing the veil.
The analogy is the same.
Yeah. He sticks his little dagger in, makes a little hole, and then goes, I'm going for it, and he jumps through. With dagger in hand.
You
Very
could say
aggressively.
sperm and egg as well, but it's definitely, there's a birth here.
Walther PPK.
Again, that's just wonderfully framed, that. And then we
This
enter.
whole, it's gorgeous, sumptuous. You could just watch it over and over. That when he's walking down the corridor, his dagger and his perfectly executed
Like that?
dancer. Yeah, you can tell he's a dancer. Some kind of dancer's walk where his hips just almost like a samurai walk, which is actually repeated by the alchemist, who moves a lot like a ninja. When he's walking, everything's very calm and still and focused and thoughtful.
Time and space have no meaning in this location, because he's at the top of a tower, and he arrives in this massive room, and he spies in front of him where the thread is going towards. It's going between the legs, near enough, of this guy sat on a throne. There's the colours of the rainbow represented, the spectrum.
Yeah, 7.
We've got the 2 pillars. You know, you could call them Yakin and Boaz.
Yeah, Yakin and Boaz, yeah.
White and black, monochrome.
Yeah, you can see those are the sun and the moon, the 2 polarities. When the names are collapsed by gematria, you know, like 1 is A, 2 is B kind of thing. That it's all processional stuff, basically. They are the poles of the earth and the ecliptic. The big secrets.
As he approaches, we're introduced to a character called the Risen Woman.
Is that what she's called?
Yeah.
How did you find that out?
It's in the credits at the end. She's got all sorts of gnarly symbols,
Hebrew,
writing all over her body.
So, yeah.
Look at that. We've got like the
Feminine symbol.
Venus and crescent.
Actually, that
Maybe.
is the masculine symbol. It's the old version of the masculine symbol. Yeah.
It's silver because you're thinking moon.
The moon, yeah.
She's representing femininity.
She's got what's called the mother letters from Hebrew on her, which are the feminine letters.
Cool. And then we meet the mad guy who created this
alchemist.
shit.
Yeah.
As soon
But
as,
perfectly he's the best thing in it.
yeah.
And he's brilliant in that role, even. And the fact that he is the director of the film is fantastic. Around his sacrificial goats there, which are his animal urges to devour. You know, he's able to abstain, is what that's saying.
He's called the alchemist, I think in the credits.
Yep.
Yeah, he's sat down. He's got a couple of goats, stuffed goats either side of him, and the pillars. You can't see his face. He doesn't reveal himself just yet. But as soon as I saw this, I saw that medallion and went, "Whoa, is that the Enneagram?"
It is the Ennead, yeah.
And it was confessed as soon as I asked the question. We get a close up. That's Gurdjieff's Enneagram, the 9-pointed symbol that
kind
was
of
famous
Egyptian.
for
Kind of Egyptian.
coming up with. Obviously, none of this is new.
Yeah.
It's ancient shit.
I love his clothes as well. He's so well fitted, and they do look like kind of a medieval ninja magician's uniform. They're just cool. I want to fancy dress as them. Genuinely.
So our hero, the thief, is sort of challenging. He's still got his dagger, and for some reason he's challenging the alchemist, and he'll like ninja-like. The alchemist descends his steps to meet the challenge.
He still has that dagger's the intellect. He's still trying to use his intellect when we're at the gates of the mystery.
He attacks, and it doesn't go well for him, does it? He's bested. Like you have superior agility. It's like the alchemist knows what he's going to do before he even does it, and he puts him on his ice. And there's this fantastic scene where he makes an OK sign and catches the dagger, disarms him, and he gives him 7 taps.
The dim mac, ching, 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 up his chakra.
Yes, in a specific order. And there's like a little ping. What's it called? Like a symbol or
Little
something?
symbols, the little finger symbols they've got. Yeah.
Every time he hits him with this 2-finger sign, again, like the Jesus 2-finger.
Yeah, the sign of esoteric, yeah.
Pings him 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of subdues him.
Yep.
A boil is discovered on his neck.
Oh, a leech.
It's the Matrix, Nick, this bit.
Oh, go on.
Well, you remember when Neo's in the car and there's that weird shrimp thing inside him and they got to pull it out?
Oh, yeah, because it is a squid.
A squid,
They remove like a squid type thing.
Yeah.
Or an octopus, maybe. I don't know.
It's like a shrimpy octopus.
Yeah, they
Squid,
conduct some minor surgery
Mm-hmm.
on the thief and remove the squid. And that's where our mate reveals himself. And this is 30 minutes into the film and we're going to get some dialogue. No one said anything, really.
Has there not even been a narrator?
No.
There's a few words, isn't there, maybe?
You got to appreciate about this film, everybody. It's a bit like Blade Runner. You sit down and you just kind of sit in the landscape for a while. This is a slightly unnerving landscape and bewildering. Mm. It's not as comfortable as something like Blade Runner, but there are just moments that like peak experiences, you know.
Yeah.
And now you've watched this. If you go and watch it, you know what it's about.
The first line of dialogue is, "Do you want gold?"
Do you want gold?
The answer is affirmative, yes.
I noticed as well, I think he voices the thief as well. I think Alejandro voices the thief. Yeah.
Right. Maybe. I didn't spot that. Because the thief has the most dialogue, Alejandro,
Yeah.
the alchemist, compared to anyone.
Yeah.
The planets get their own dialogue scene.
My
Scenes
name
where
is Clute. I am the planet Jupiter.
Pluto. Loot is Pluto.
Is it?
Yeah. L-U-T.
Yeah. My memory's terrible.
The thief gets very little dialogue, so I never spotted that. Makes me want to listen again.
I noticed on like his last scene. I was like, oh, that is his voice, because it had always bothered me. I'd never liked the thief's voice very much, but it's Alejandro.
So we move on to the next scene. Act 2, Scene 2 is like it starts, a lot of these scenes, they start with an overhead shot. You'll notice when you watch the film. I don't know what kind of location this is or whether they built it, but it's like a decadent bath with a hippo in it.
Yeah, again, it's the waters of the unconscious. And there's that crocodile again. I know it's a hippo, but there's the possibility of being devoured while you're in here. There's always danger. That might be a little cute thing, but it's the possibility of being devoured at any point.
So the alchemist and the written woman are doing this ritual cleansing. And I've only noticed this. I only took this frame because her boobs are out and I needed to get a reverse shot. And she's got a massive caduceus on her back, which I'd never spotted.
She's got a massive caduceus. Yeah. I think that's Crowley's caduceus as well, from the back of the Book of Thoth, his Book of Tarot.
Particular attention is paid to the anus, it says in my notes.
Yeah.
During this ritual bathing.
Yeah.
It's quite gratuitous.
It is, yeah.
Anal cleansing.
Yeah. She's quite delicate. She's almost so delicate though, because you can tell that, we got to be careful here, guys. But by her being delicate with it, and it kind of breaking that fourth wall in a bad way a little bit, because I can see an actress being gentle, it makes it worse. I kind of almost wish she just got in there, because then it at least had been real and had stayed in the film. But it pulls even more attention to it.
So we move on now. Again, establishing shot from overhead again to a new location. I've called it the Alchemist Lab because
it's got great music on this bit, with loads of Indian drums on there.
Right.
Yeah. It really vibe when you got decent speakers. It vibrates your chest as well.
Some of the soundtrack's great. There's loads.
Yeah, there's some howlers though as well for me.
We're looking down on this lab. We've got sort of sacred geometry vibes going on, and our protagonist is stripped naked after his bath. He's given a glass pot to shit in.
Can I say it again? I just like saying it. Your excrement, you can turn into gold.
The alchemist has to get some sort of ritual clothes going on. He's like strapping one arm with black band, and he's got a black cube on his head.
Yeah, it's the Hebrew tefnut, something like that.
Tecton?
I can't remember. But that's a Saturnian black cube with Torah in there, and the black wraps are like Saturnian wraps.
The written woman is playing the cello during this scene for some reason. We have a stork, which I imagine is...
Is that a pelican?
It is a pelican.
Oh, right.
It's an alchemical symbol for regeneration. The myth of the pelican was that it would pluck its own feathers and its children would drink from its blood. Early Christians also took this symbol, but it's an alchemical symbble.
Were pelicans
of regeneration.
in Europe? Are they in Europe? I thought they were from the Americas.
It's pretty. I know this symbol to be from pre-colonial times. So
I'm just wondering. Yeah, I was a genuine. I've never.
Well, it's a seafaring bird, so they might have seen it on the seafaring adventures.
The thief is placed in like an egg, like a cosmic egg, and he's sort of being purged during this scene while the turd is being cooked.
Yeah, that's the alchemical. It's the alchemical athanor, which is, it's an egg. It's you incubating, but also it's the Svadhisthana's chakra, the lower dantian, the bit just underneath your belly button, behind there. But also the in an as above, so below it. It's the what's that little egg shape in your brain?
Pineal.
A bit bigger. Right, that area, the surrounding. I forget what it's called. I want to say omphalos, but that's ridiculous. Can't remember right now. I've had a beer. Yeah, it's parts of the brain. Basically, it's everything's like analogous for mystical ways of doing cool things with your body.
The turd is reduced and the thief is purged. The thief's juices. Oh, here's a nice shot of the purging. He's really struggling. He's suffering.
Yeah.
He's suffering through this alchemical procedure.
Dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
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 Sweating it out. And you catch the dew. This is what you do with in alchemy. You sweat things and steam things and evaporate them and reduce them down. Calcination, it's called. Reduce things down, and you collect the dews, the various dews from it, which obviously just old-fashioned words for condensates. But this is the going into your is in the unconscious here. Going into your unconscious, dealing with those things that come up, kind of going through them emotionally and logically, and reducing those things down so there's a lesson to be learned or something about yourself that you know more that can be like a nugget of gold that you can then assimilate. He's literally doing the Jungian assimilation of the shadow.
Cool. The juices from the thief are collected in a glass receptacle with two outlets in the shape of a heart. And the alchemist collects through the red pipe into this device and then turns it over, and from the blue pipe pours the thief's condensation, if you like.
What's the heart of it? The condensation is the heart of it. It's the stone at the they used to say that there was a stone in the center of a serpent's head or a dragon's head or a toad's head, these toad stones. That is it's this that condensates the perfection of what was inside there with all the impurities burned away.
The alchemist adds the thief's juices to the excrement, and with further operations, this is reduced and purified. We get like this sort of crystallization.
Solveic coagula.
And then more sort of diamondy, stony, and guess what we end up with? Big lump of gold.
At last.
We have gold.
And we get another line. You are excrement.
I love how it still looks like excrement now.
Right, yeah.
It looks like a poo of gold because it is still poo.
We've all laid a nugget, haven't we?
Where's that
name come from?
You've literally polished the turd.
Exactly, yeah. You can turn shit into gold.
You're excrement.
You
can change yourself to gold.
I just love saying it.
And he gives him the gold. Here you go. Alchemist, says he, thief, you can have that gold. Now, this is cool. So, they bring a mirror. The written woman and the alchemists bring a mirror. Obviously, the mirror is the shape of a vesicapiscus. And our protagonist looks at himself in the mirror and freaks out and smashes it with the lump of gold, which is just screams all sorts of... Now he's been purified. He can't bear to look at himself.
Perfect.
Yeah. He's horrified with his image and smashes it. And scene. Act 2.
Cut.
We're now cut to this sort of hall of mirrors.
Yeah, this is cool. With the ashlar stone.
Oh, well, it's like the pyramid from the earlier scene, but shrunken down.
Yeah.
The obelisk.
Yeah.
But reduced in size. The other thing I was going to say, the tower with the fish hook, that essentially is an obelisk without its pyramidion on top.
I'm totally sure it's getting at the same thing.
Yeah. But we enter this sort of hall of mirrors. Something to note, the alchemist has gone from wearing all white to now wearing all black.
He's now Saturn. He's not so, he's the master now. Saturn's the grandfather of the planets, the grandfather of the gods. He's the old one. He's the one that he's got the longest orbit. So he finds out by understanding. So that's the mastery. And this is the analogy is a little strange, normally this is called an ashlar stone, and
Mm.
it's a rough stone, and you make it into a nice stone like that. In this case, you're kind of doing an inverse of it, but he is being he's, rather than trying to be a human, he's trying to be a god.
Yeah.
You know, he's trying to be supernatural. He's trying to be more than. So he's got to break this. Even this idea of perfection's got to go.
You know, you have like the Freemason law of you are an unfinished ashlar,
Mhm.
and by self-improvement, being mindful, you're trying to polish yourself into a dress stone like this obelisk on screen. They're going next step. We've got the dress stone.
Knock it off.
We need to disintegrate it
Yeah.
to get to what's in the stone,
Mhm.
which is the secret, your immortality, your soul.
Yeah.
Another thing to note, the thief is now dressed as the alchemist. He's an initiate, but he's not black, he's brown.
He's Earth.
Brown, he's a turd.
Yeah,
You
no,
were
no, he is.
excrement.
He's Earth. He's a turd.
And alchemist says to him, "You broke the looking glass, now break the stone." And he hands him a silver axe.
And he acts really badly at hitting this polystyrene prop. And it wobbles a bit like a Doctor Who set.
Yeah. He tries to break it and gets nowhere. And then,
You should have tried a pounding stone.
Yes, he should have got his butt flaps out and got some copper chisels and a pounding stone. He would have had it knocked up in no time, according to Egyptologists. I was just going to say, it goes back to this sort of mastery. So he's using blunt force and all this, but he gives up. The alchemist takes the axe.
Ding.
One tap on the top, and the obelisk disintegrates.
And the axe is symbolic of the pole again. A lot of these old mystic traditions go up the pole, and the pole is the axis, the axe, and that you can up there by up the poles up your spine or up the ladder of being or something like that. So by going to these mystical places where you've gone beyond the gods of time and ego and all these things we said before, like deep meditation, that is the axe that can split reality up and get you beyond it. You can get out. Almost cut down the tree of life. Don't do that. Well, it's an axe that splits open the head of Jupiter to let Athena out, who's like a higher order of reason from his fate. He's fate. Athena is reason. So he split that motherfucker open. Blah.
So the alchemist breaks the stone, and what's revealed is like a crystal ball type thing. And what does he say? Each stone has a soul, formed by the work of millions of years.
This is that stone in the head of a toad I was talking about before. It's that juice, what do we call it? Condensate that we were talking about before. It's that same idea. It's a philosopher's stone.
Yeah. Again, same motif. We've changed scenes with an overhead establishing shot, and I've called this the tarot room. Where are we? See.
I love how it spins as well.
Oh yeah. There's lots of camera movement that
Mandalas
we can't give any sort of appreciation for because we're just dealing with stills here. We couldn't show clips because we'd just get copyrighted to folk. So yeah, we cut to the tarot room. The tarot will teach you how to create a soul, he says, the alchemist.
The tarot will teach you how to create a soul.
And the thief is guided around the tarot room. He's led by hand, and and this is so cool. He's presented with a coin, so a pentacle.
A pentacle.
Yeah, it's like from the tarot. You got the wands, the swords, the cups, and the coins.
The coins, yeah.
And it's got a pentagram on it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I should have.
I love how vivid those images are.
Oh yeah, I've kind of
straight out of the 60s even.
Jumped ahead here. Like as he's leading him around the room, you get a good look at all these different tarot designs and the mental. I mean, we could spend half an hour on each of these slides. Just
a part of me was hoping that you delved into the internet and found individual images of each and would have a look.
And it's like the way it's been led hand by hand as the room sort of revolving. It's got like Mount Mary there. We've got this eagle and serpent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so
those like these are cool symbols.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Fool and the Reflection and the Cosmic Order, cool.
There's all sorts in it. Oh, sorry.
Dao Te Ching, no, I Ching.
What's that?
Yes, that's from the I Ching on the right hand side. The Chinese book of the harmonic stuff put into magic.
These lines?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, it's from Taoism. It's so at the basis of all these mysticism traditions are number philosophies, because they're all to do with like the ancient megalithic measurement systems, essentially, when you get down to it, and moral systems. And in China, that manifested in a book, a kind of a divination book. You cast lots, like little sticks, you chuck them down, or pick one of these trigrams, and those are the trigrams, and they are either broken up lines or continuous lines, 3, and the combinations of those 3 by 3 is 64, and you got these 64 trigrams that all have different meanings, polarity.
Right.
So it's like different, it'll be like fire and water, or fire, water, fire and air. What's these combinations kind of thing, but based on number.
When we get to Saturn, there's one particular symbol I want to ask you about then,
Okay.
which is, it looks like that, but
Obviously, sorry, go on.
I just saw it and I recognised it. I just couldn't think where it was from, and I want to know if you knew what it meant. But
So,
when we get to Saturn,
Yeah, I just want to point out that there's the as above, so below principle as well there, which again is these harmonic maths, that the harmonic maths can be found up there in the cosmos, and it can be found down here in time and our bodies and things like that.
So the alchemist hands the thief the coin, and then he lays him down in this pose.
That's the place where the Buddha lay down and died. The Sagat stage on Street Fighter 2.
Oh yeah, in the background.
Yeah.
Big.
So in ninjutsu, we call that area Busumetsu, and it's a very weak area. It's the floating rib down. Nobody can see it, but it's your floating rib on your right side specifically. But that's where Buddha died. I don't know the actual esoteric of it, other than it's a pressure point, and probably something to do with chi stuff, as a lot of this stuff is.
So while the thief is led down in the tarot room, the alchemist starts another operation. He's giving him the coin. He then gives him a wand, which is put between his legs.
Let's see if you can remember. Sorry, when you got to the end, I want to see if you can remember what these symbolize.
Oh my God. So we've got the wand. A sword is then put sort of under his arm as he's led down. He's then given a cup, and his arms moved for the cup, the chalice, and then the pentacle, or the coin, or whatever, is placed over his face.
Yeah.
So he's been sort of been given the gifts of the tarot here in a way.
It's like Perseus receiving the gifts, so all these gods getting the gifts from the gods. So these are obviously you got the Grail cup there, and the Excalibur, and a magic wand, and so do you remember what the coins represent as far as these old mysteries? Like an element. There's 4 elements though.
Oh right. Well, I think I'd have to work with what I know. The sword would be air, I think, wouldn't it?
Yeah, which is the intellect.
The intellect.
Divides.
I imagine the chalice is water.
Yeah.
Because it holds water.
Yeah, so it's like the mind and emotions.
So that leaves earth and fire. I mean, money, earth,
Yeah.
I would say, and the wand is fire.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The reason why it's got a pentagram on there is because the earth is the condensation of all the other elements. It goes fire, water, air, earth, and earth's the bottom one. And with the 5th element on there, which is like the ethereal element, that everything outside the
Multipass.
Yeah. $1 multipass. Yeah. It's the 5th element.
Again, it's just dripping with symbolism, isn't it? And it's the way everything's deliberately done. The way he's posed and stuff. It's just really cool. And again, it's like I'm not going to get half of this. The guy's obviously a bit of a nut when it comes to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously been studying for a long
time. Yeah.
To put this in film, but it's just a great thing to see.
I would also say that's part of the riddle of the Sphinx as well, that it's like to will, to dare, to know, to whatever that is.
It's coming up.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah. So as he's given these gifts, when he gives him the wand is to know. The sword is to dare. He's given the cup to want, and then the coin is placed on his head to be silent. That's his interpretation. Confused me a bit because
it's not right for me.
No, I would have thought the sword is to know.
Yeah.
The dividing of the intellect. But hey,
perhaps he's mixing them up on purpose because he clearly knows his stuff. Because he's about to do that again when we get to the planets. Those aren't those are the inverted planets. That's why Mars is a woman and Venus is a man.
But it's only those two, I think. Because I caught that. Well, we're going to get to it very soon.
Yeah,
but yeah, because I picked up on the gender switches, and I thought it was only a couple, but I might be wrong. We'll find out very soon.
So already though, if anyone's watched this out there, it's got a lot more meaning than you think it has. It just seems like surrealism, and it's not.
No, it's drippy.
I mean, it is surreal, but it's. I mean, my God, it's surreal, but it's all got meaning and actually makes real logical sense if you can watch it with these kind of eyes.
Again, overhead establishing shot when we change scene. This is I think I might have skipped it, but we have the ox scene. So in fact, my screenshot mustn't have saved.
The ox landing on the vulture.
Yeah, it shows a picture of an ox and it has the horns of like Taurus painted on its side.
Yeah, and the moon, yeah.
And it's got a vulture on his back, and he says the same force the vulture uses to seize the ox is needed by the ox to receive the vulture.
The vulture. So, I wanted to ask you, what do you think what do you think he's getting at there?
It's like the natural order of things, isn't it? Force, life force.
Yeah. It's the feminine principle. He's literally talking about the life force in the feminine principle. That the same principle that ox receives that animal with as the vulture receives the animal with. Even though the polar opposites within that dynamic, it's still the same principle.
It's kind of a repudiation of dualism, because you could say the force that the vulture uses to seize, that's masculine, the ox, is needed by the ox to receive. Receiving is a feminine, we're talking generalizations.
It's talking duality, yeah.
But he's saying they're the same thing.
Well, that's particularly down here with Mars and Venus. So you could have yin, and then over here you could have a yang. But also you can have yin and yang going together. You have the sun and you have the moon. But also you have Mars and Venus, which are the two things permanently in interaction. That's what that is. When you look at the life force, the masculine, feminine sides of it, when it's doing its work here, they're always joined up. For example, I have the Venus part of that is a feminine need. So I want something. I actually need it to sustain myself. So food, and then there's like should I have that? Do I have the energy to have that? Can I go and get that? Is it possible to do I have enough energy to get it and to eat it? Those are the masculine parts of it, the kind of passions and the knows and the putting the energy into these things. So they're always in a permanent dynamic. If you have a want, you need to be able to go and get it. Else it doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the sort of narrative. New location, overhead establishing this. I've called this the room of the planets because we have these sort of avatars, a bit like the thief's avatar that was floated on the balloons. Each planet has an avatar on this room, and this is the technique we use to introduce each character. And we keep cutting back to this room before each character's introduced, apart from one. So,
I like how you're picking up on things that I just didn't pick up on.
I'd say it's rich. This is rich shit. Where are we? A bit more dialogue. The fish thinks about his hunger, not about the fisherman. It is the master who seeks the disciple. You want to know the secret, but man can achieve nothing by himself. To accomplish their chemical work, you will have these companions, the planets. They are thieves like you, but on another level. They're the most powerful people on the planet, industrialists, politicians, etc. And then we get introduced to the first one.
So let me just say something on that quickly. So the
Yeah.
planets are the archetypes of everything. That they are just these distilled ideas. They are present out there in, the planetary analogy, but they're also and mostly are inside you in your little solar system. They are your endocrine system, your nerve ends, and your various hormone producing elements. They are the 7 nerve endings that come off your spine and the glands on the end of them. Squishy bits. Your drugs, the drugs that pump you, your urges. The gods that control you. Literally, that's what it is.
Yeah. So, my name is Fon. My planet is Venus. We have the big Venus sign here. And I picked it up immediately, gender swapped.
Yeah.
Venus is gender swapped. You can think, well, Venus should be a woman, surely. I think,
And that symbol should be the other way around.
Oh, yeah, inverted.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cross is coming up the top.
Yeah, it's
I
good
did
that you
spot
picked
that.
that up. I didn't spot that till like the second time I watched it.
My business is devoted to the comfort and beauty of the human body. Beds, mattresses, fabrics, clothing, cosmetics. My father is the creator of this empire. He's dead. Oh, so we go through it's like a factory shop floor.
Yeah. So if I bring, so we can get through it quicker, if I bring some context to it first and then we can see it with that lens. So Venus, I just described, is this need, want. It's realizing that there's a deficit in the system. Now, it's up to your judgment whether the thing that you fill that deficit with is beautiful, hence Venus beauty, is beautiful or not. Beautiful is it, is that necessary? Is it good for me? Those kind of considerations. So if you invert that, it's selling out. It's, selling sex. It's everything becomes shallow. It's just, is it beautiful? Is it beautiful in a shallow way? Let's commodify it. And discard it.
Right. I found this a bit weird. So,
this.
It's one of the weirder scenes in the film. My father is the creator of this empire. He's deaf, dumb, and blind. Before making a decision, he consults with my mother's mummy. He puts his hand into her sex.
Yeah.
If it's moist, it's yes. If it's dry, it's no. And he literally reaches under this dead woman's skirt.
Yeah.
Rubs his fingers together, as we see, and that gives him his answer.
His nature. He's the soul of the world. He's that. He's the weather. The weather just does as it does.
It's the wives are introduced next. So we have Venus, who is masculine in this, but all his his close compadres are women. We introduce all these wives, and he makes love to them every day, only during working hours.
Yeah.
And he says the beginners workers, like this lady here, he spots this worker, and then they're promoted to secretaries, and that happens to this worker. She's cleaned up, promoted, gets ravaged in the bed, and then she goes to the back of the queue. She's sent to the back of the queue, and you have all these previous wives, all with child,
And then they all
with baby. Yeah. And she's at the back of the queue.
Doesn't he make muscles as well? Isn't that this guy? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So this is like, I mean, it's just
It's the commodification of beauty and the improper use of that facility of finding things beautiful.
It's kind of ahead of its time when you think about this, like young girls now getting buttock surgery.
Yeah.
I was going to say that, yeah. The Brazilian butt lift.
Yeah.
Not only is it probably a bad thing to be getting that stuff, but you're a bit of an arsehole for
Literally.
doing that, for selling that service. I realise there's many reasons, and it's a minefield, this, but, it's a broad sweeping statement. It's certainly selling falsehood.
Well, on that note, this is a great line. He says, "We know that people want to be loved, not for who they are, but for what they appear to be."
Mm-hmm.
This sort of, because we all wear masks. We all wear masks, and we want people to love the masks that we're wearing. And guess what? Venus has got us covered, because we have created a line of masks that have the texture, warmth, and smell of living human beings. A customer Can have any mask that she wants. Every face is unique and lasts a lifetime. You wear this mask for your entire life. Because we're not like real humans yet. We're just sort of under this social pressure to act certain ways, and we can't. We're terrified of being ourselves and saying
Keeping
the wrong
up with
thing.
the Joneses and all that stuff.
Yeah, this fucking. Oh my gosh. This is
not us. We've clearly let ourselves go. Can I hit you up for another?
Yeah, another
cider, please. Cider.
It's Dickens. Is that all right?
Yeah, whatever.
Dickens cider.
Oh, you're enjoying this, everybody out there.
This is a bit of an odd one as well. These coffins. So, she can wear her artificial face to the grave. Our makeup department for corpses eliminates the appearance of death. Not only do we beautify cadavers, we also equip them with electronic devices. And they show like a cadaver in the box, and he brings this like remote control over to them and makes them start acting and moving like automatons. It's like it's it's disturbing. But that's the end of Venus.
Are thankfully short. Sorry for those bangs, everybody. They are thankfully short, these bits, because even for me, when I cottoned on, it's the inverted planets. It didn't make any sense. It's difficult.
We cut back to the tarot room to introduce the next character. My name is Isla. My planet is Mars. Whoa, Mars? Mars should be a man, the god of war. But it's not, it's a female. Every morning, I wake up my male secretaries. So whereas Venus had female, Mars is female and has male secretaries. And this getting out of bed. Got these amazing overhead shots again.
Is that a man pie?
It's like man porridge.
Or a pancake?
They're floaty bits in man porridge.
Black swans?
Yeah, we've got black swans. I mean, cracky. This is an interesting image. So we've got like a bugler of Mars.
Is that a man or a woman?
It's a woman. But she's got one peg leg. She's on crutches. She's wearing a neck brace. She's been a victim of, I don't know, war maybe. This is like the base
war
interpretation.
It's like a porridge, is it?
Man porridge.
Is it not like shag carpet or something? I don't know.
It does look like it might be some. They're not covered. Are they covered in it?
I don't know.
Is it an egg?
Is it an omelette?
Well,
hey, it's like war. You can't make
an
an omelette.
ovum. I mean, I don't know.
They represent little spermies.
Yeah.
Sperms.
So there's Mars there in the tall one with the black power suit on. And she goes on to say, I manufacture and sell weapons. So this is the war connection. We produce bombers, hydrogen bombs, ray guns, deadly bacteria, antimatter waves, carcinogenic gases, etc.
It makes them look cool.
Well, this is really evocative, this scene of the testing ground.
Oh, yeah.
We are experimenting with a drug to create delusions of grandeur.
Yep.
And you have this scene of soldiers, people dressed as soldiers, just repeatedly running onto bayonets.
So Mars being that masculine principle that is your passion and makes you like, yeah, come on, let's do it. Makes men do stupid things, sporting activities and whatnot. There you go. It's that amplified.
I mean,
using that masculine.
Doesn't get much more stupid than running onto a bayonet, does it? Because someone told you to. Or they made you hate someone who you've never met in another country, and you'll run onto a bayonet for it.
Oh, they got you to clap for the NHS.
Well, yeah, the lists are endless. Yeah, another drug turns harmless people into wild beasts, and we have this harmless.
Oh, mate, it just gets to me. This bit, he screams, and he's clearly struggling to it. He's struggling to kick that mannequin. And just watching him shuffle about and be uncomfortable, and it's difficult.
Yeah, I mean the implication from the scene is this guy with this sort of we can't say midget anymore, can you? Is it small person, dwarf?
Dwarfism, I don't know.
With no arms. The implication is that he's been drugged in this scene to turn him into a wild beast, and he acts like it, and it's kind of distressing. The young generation needs arms for its marches and its sit-ins. And so they start tarting these weapons up with like platform shoes and psychedelic color combinations and all the rest of it. A grenade necklace. I mean, it's so...
Sell it, baby. Make it cool.
It's kind of on the nose, but not, because
It's this
got
film.
got a guitar there in the shape of a... Well, is it a gun in the shape of a guitar? I
A
would say.
rifle.
Yeah. And then she goes on to say that, like, cue rock music. I was to say the music changes when you see this rock paraphernalia. We have psychedelic shotguns, grenade necklaces, rock and roll weapons, and mystical weapons for Buddhists, Jews, Christians. You got a hand gun with a crucifix on it. I mean,
should have been a crossbow.
Yeah, it's pretty provocative imagery. And that's the end of Mars for the time being. And we cut back to the tarot room to meet our next avatar. My name is Glenn. My planet is... I don't understand what these names are.
I've got no idea.
Are they just made up? I don't know.
They could be gematria or something like that, because they're clumsy words, a lot of them.
I mean, it's going to be Jupiter for our purposes, because that's what his name. And you're introduced to his house and his wife. He lives in this sort of decadent palace. There's art. Every square inch of wall has got paintings on it.
It's kind of like... what's that artist where the staircase is...
Yeah, like an infinite staircase. Yeah.
But can I just say before, just to prep our lens, Jupiter's the planet of expansion and growth and building and putting together the elements in an order. So fate, because fate is the elements of the universe put into an order, and that's the moment. And there you go. There's your fate. So he's the product of that, which is like expansion. So it's money and greed and, again, like things being disposable.
Materialism.
Absolute materialism.
Yeah. So we're introduced to Jupiter's wife, his house, and then we meet his wife. And it's interesting, the relationship that's on show here. So when he goes in for a kiss and it's obvious that the wife wants nothing to do with him, she's not happy. Jupiter, they meet, like they come down a staircase together. He kisses her on the hand and cheek, and she immediately gets out a little bottle of antiseptic and wipes the kisses away from her hand and cheek. Not a happy marriage,
No.
I'd say.
This is where Neo comes and fights the guys with the axes in the Matrix. You know the bit? And they start doing the flips, and there's the white guys with the dreads. I just derailed that.
Matrix 2, is it?
Yeah,
That
the
one.
second one, yeah.
There's like a melted toilet in the middle of the shop for some reason.
Oh, I never saw that.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it looks like a toilet, doesn't it?
Melted toilet. Again, she also, after wiping herself, she then goes over to a piano and starts playing a piano. But before she presses the keys, she takes the same bottle out and disinfects it all, which I thought was an interesting thing to put there.
Not only is she grossed out by him, but it's also kind of a character trait of hers. That
Like
she
Trump.
is. He clean his hands all the time.
What's it called? Germaphobe. That's the phrase I'm looking for.
Lots of very successful people are germaphobes like that. The compulsiveness about the way they work, I think.
We're then introduced to his chauffeur. They do some drugs.
In the ears?
In the ears, yeah. Some like snuff in the ears for some reason. Do you know why that is?
Because Alejandro Jodorowsky's off his head.
We are introduced to his lover, 1,000 a week. Jupiter has.
She's got a look about her. She's very sexy, but like rough looking as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a cut, it's 1 second maybe, of a goldfish, a fish out of water gasping for air. And that's it. It's never referenced again. Don't know why it's there.
Probably
but
sexual. Probably some going on.
Well,
there you go.
Rumpy pumpy in shoes in the back of the chauffeur-driven limo. Lovers picked up and they engage in drug use in the back of the car. Cut to gasping goldfish, then rumpy pumpy on the back seat. Weird cut to police army dragging alligator out of sewer. So there's, again, like the goldfish, there's this weird cut that's 2 seconds of these army guys dragging an alligator out of the sewer. It's that danger thing coming back again, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think?
it's like you're messing with dissolution and taking things too far, and that crocodile comes out and it'll devour you, devour your soul. That's the thing. It's crackheads. Your soul's been devoured.
Yeah. Jupiter now shows us around his art factory. We produce a new line of art every season.
Great seeing this.
And oh yeah, this is great. This, I mean, is this just commentary on modern art or what?
Yeah, it's a factory, isn't it? Of
mass-produced,
sexualized.
Bums.
What they should have had is like just the schedule for Marvel films for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
That would have summed it up nicely.
We almost went 1 week.
Just mass-produced. Well, the thing is, right? Humans can create stuff like this with its depth.
No one watches.
That no one watches.
I would love to do something like this, but in something that people could also watch. But you'd have to do that. You'd have to kind of also explain. You'd have to give people the keys to understand it at the beginning.
Yeah,
it'd be difficult to write, but I think it's doable.
So it's a production line of paper going across, and these guys have got their arses painted and just sitting on the painted arses on this paper, and this is what's passing for art in Jupiter's world. We've then got this weird these weird sculptures that have humans in them, naked humans painted, and he fettles one here, gives her a quick wipe up the vagine.
A lot of vagine wiping, isn't there, in this film?
A lot of willy waving too.
There's a bit of probing as well, because he dives under and he inserts a finger,
a digit,
in the buttocks of the sculpture.
Noteworthy how unsexual all this is, though. That it's not in any way you're watching it and going, oh yeah, this is maybe a bit more so the scene coming up with the robot.
Yeah. We next pass to the love machine, it's called. We created a love machine to make it live. The spectator has to work with it, guide it, receive it, give himself in the act of love. With this electronic rod, which is given to the chauffeur, you can rub its mechanical vagina, according to the script. The spectator's skill will determine the machine's ability to reach a climax. And the chauffeur doesn't get on very well. It's not having it.
No.
He's a bad lover. He didn't know how to satisfy it. But this woman, so he gives the rod, and fourth wall break here. Jupiter looks directly at the camera and the lover for some reason.
Well, this is us satisfying the machine of his greed, corporatism.
He gives the lover, again, tasteful screenshot there to not get any boobs in.
Yeah, well done.
And it opens, the love machine opens like a flower when she has a go at it, and produces a little baby love machine.
Little baby one.
There it is, and she's declared the champion.
Yeah, you've won.
Yeah.
You've won. Are you able to help the machine? Are you able to help Babylon reproduce? There you go. You win.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite scene. Saturn, because this goes into a lot of the things we've talked about during the Christmas shows and stuff. So scene 7, Saturn, no cut back to the avatar room before this scene, so it's a hard cut from here to the cell foundation, whereas in all the previous ones
we've seen a moment of the room
we've gone
around with that. Yeah.
There's Jupiter, but when we get to Saturn, that cut, which is 3 seconds,
just a hard cut,
is omitted.
Maybe
editing choice.
Yeah, possibly editing choice. Possibly they didn't have that footage. Maybe something went wrong in the development. There's lots of things that go on behind the scenes. Don't forget you're dealing with film as well.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. Would there be anything in that? okay, it might be a narrative thing because she unmasks herself, and if we unmasked her before she unmasks herself, then that wouldn't have the hit.
Holy shit, you've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Avatar room, they are dummies. They're not made up.
Yeah.
And none of the previous characters are wearing makeup or any sort of costume. Really, they're just in business suits.
And part
Saturn
of her
is a clown.
introduction, yeah, Saturn's about to be a clown who unmasks herself.
You fucking nailed it. Well done. The Cell Foundation. My name is Cell. My planet is Saturn. My customers are children. And she's essentially the Christmas clown. There's like a parade-style soundtrack comes in. She's got these sort of Father Christmas outfit-wearing helpers. St. Bernard dogs. We've got an angel there. We've got, I think the angel's flag has the black sun on it.
Yep.
Possibly. I don't know.
Definitely.
She's dressed like a Christmas tree. She's got like green leggings with
Yeah,
fairy
no.
lights on them.
Yeah, yeah. Like a composite Christmas Saturn figure.
With the clown.
She's inverting.
And her whole demeanor, it's all jolly, happy, but it's fake. That's what they're getting at. We've got this we've got the dangerous beast present, the
That
elephant.
is, I would say that's that animal there is materialism. Yeah.
It's
That, a white sun and a white moon, black moon.
The elephant on its
That's
side.
the body. Yeah, it's materialism. It's like more like biological materialism rather than physical.
Another great location, by the way. Looks like an old sort of cathedral or something that they're filming out. And Saturn is riding the elephant with its body painted. And check out this place as well, the toy factory. You know, because I was looking at that, I'm thinking, is that a matte painting or what?
It'll be a real
But
building.
I think it's a real
Is
building.
it not a stadium? I would say. Concert
No.
theatre.
It's mental, whatever it is, isn't it? I've never seen it before.
No.
It's cool. Seeing as it's from 71 or 2 before this was finished.
Yeah. The Christmas clown. She arrives at the factory and a transformation occurs. The music changes from the circus music to somber music. We get the arrival of these old people in uniform carrying guns.
It's not that Saturn's as she switched characters yet. Oh, we get into that.
We're just coming to it here. So she goes through it. So she's still dressed as Christmas. So she goes through this gun salute type thing. And that's when she transforms with these 4 figures who sort of disrobe her. And look, her demeanor's changed immediately.
Yeah.
It's deadly serious.
Yeah, it's not that was a fake persona. It's that persona is polarized by its nature, the Saturnian persona. Saturn is Christmas and the jollity there. But that's because Saturn polarizes. Saturn's the edge of things. What's beyond that? If you're the positive, beyond use the negative. If you get me? So Saturn's naturally a pole at the end of
And she's given
an object.
She's given this sort of harsh, dour makeup, the music, everything, the whole vibe changes. She inspects the troops and then goes into the factory. We manufactured war toys. And the intercom comes up. Workers needed in the miniature plastic bomb shop.
Yeah.
All the extras are all old. And that made me think of like Father Time and Saturn and all that kind of stuff. All the extras, all the factory workers are all ancient. You've got this sort of table here. Every guy around this table is wearing a different kind of military uniform. Like you've got militaries from all over across the world. We have an electronic computer programmed with the politics of the government. The government is our client. We feed the computer data on coming wars and revolutions. It tells us what kind of toys to produce to condition children from birth.
Yeah, Saturn's the box. Saturn's the container that you're in. So it's dogma and such things. It's
Get forward if you
Phil. Yeah, Phil's leaving on a point that's not a very long point. have you got it, Matt?
I can skip it on here
Cool.
if you just explain. Yeah.
So Saturn's the box. Saturn's your dogma. Saturn's the old guys that have been in control for a while. You know, it's your granddad who's made his money and got his power and influence.
So what are they doing here? What are they pulling out? Some kind of more programming, or
Well,
what's this that this guy's pulling out here?
Yeah, it's the results from the computer, from the computing.
Okay.
It's cold and logical
Right. Oh, and she's back.
with a nice booth on hairdo, looking
That's
a bit like Ghostbusters. What's her name? Gozer at the end.
And what's the symbol here on the
That's
back?
the symbol for Saturn.
Mm,
And also the Planck constant, but that's another story entirely.
right.
I'm sure
Anything
Phil's got stuff to say about this.
What's
anything
that?
you've missed here, Phil?
What's
We've
that?
only clicked 3. This
Yeah.
one. Oh, sorry, that's where we were. This one.
Computer printout.
This one.
She's chatting.
South America.
Mm.
Yeah, we got the South
Yeah,
American.
they're going to go to war with South America.
Yeah, it's been foreshadowed from the first scene, pretty much, where the thief and his monkey recreate the invasion of South America, and it's going to carry on. It carries on throughout the film. This "we need to destroy Peru" theme for some reason, and again it goes into the spirit journey, like the narcotics and the shamans and everything later in the film.
Yeah, later on.
Peru is like the heart of this film somehow, or maybe it's Chile because that's where he's from. I don't know.
That area.
Yeah. If the government calculates it will be necessary to wage war against Peru, our machine studies the Peruvians and tells us what to do. We manufacture hypersexed brown native vampires. There you go. Who can only be destroyed by a cross the color of white skin.
Mm.
So it's
Gosh.
something to be jealous of, hypersexed. You know, they're obviously brown because they are brown. Vampires because the archetype of the vampire is somebody that takes something from you without your consent.
Yeah. This is all propaganda.
And
It's-
they're probably little so that they are inferior to you,
Yeah.
even though they got big widges.
Uh,
Those are the local condoms.
We create a laxative that induces vomiting. We name it after the capital of Peru and tint it with the colour of the natives. So again, this is conditioning
Yeah.
people for war, which is what happens when you watch the Idiot Box
The Saturnian box, yeah.
and read the newspapers and stuff. Now, this I alluded to this before, something I need to ask you about. We started a comic book campaign. For 15 years in advance, we conditioned children to hate the future enemy. And this is fantastic. So we've got Captain. He's got like a Saturnian ring. It's like a Captain America, like a Marvel comic cover. He's got a Saturnian ring around his head. It comes out on the 1st of May. May Day.
Mm-hmm.
Mayday. I'm sure there's some relevance there. On his torso, he has a yin and yang, but with the missing dots. There's no dots in the yin and yang.
No yin and the yang.
We've got a massive Saturn represented on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's this here,
Yeah,
the 3 and the 6.
the trigrams. Well, they got the trigrams around the Tai Chi there in the middle as well, the yin and yang.
Mm.
So that's his heart chakra activated. The trigrams are at the ultimates there, so it would be something like, it means the one on the right means fire and air in the system that we're familiar with, and the one on the left will be water and earth as the two feminine elements.
Right.
So it's reproductions. Obviously, Saturn is in the Western tradition. This is all Saturn's occult knowledge. Saturn's the god of space and time, and bodies and polarities and these things that we're talking about. You know, whenever we have conversations, Saturn seems to always come up because we're talking about big things.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that. I was looking at that 6-3 symbol, and I was thinking, my thoughts were Saturn's the 6th planet. Saturn is the 6th house in astrology. You've got the hexagon of Saturn at its pole. The hexagon of...
Saturn's only the 6th planet to us, though it was the 7th. Because they had the sun and the moon.
Right.
And what did you say at the end? The hexagon with the single one in the center.
Well, a hexagon's 6-sided shape, so Saturn 6. 666. I don't know.
A hexagon's really 7 because if you put a single circle, you could put 6 perfect circles around it, which make a hexagon. It's this
Right.
weird thing about a circle. So 6 is really a 7.
Against the Peruvian monster. And again, we've got it repeated. Look at the detail. They've got the 6 and 3 symbol repeated.
It's the best
On
on
his
his
boots.
feminine again.
His booties. And then you've got
She's
cuts.
very tall.
Well, I've got that in my notes, man.
She towers above.
Saturn is
Wow.
looking through a porthole into like a, what do you call it? Like an experimental room. And she's got all her ancient minions, her old OAPs around her. And yeah, she towers above them all. And you've got like a Peruvian, a kid, who's not Peruvian, obviously, anything other than Peruvian, with a mind control device on his head, bow and arrow in his hands, and you got the old workers underneath taking readouts and then tormenting the children and making them hate Peruvians for some reason.
Bloody Peruvians
Yeah.
coming here, stealing our llama farming.
We cut back to the Avatar room. Who's next? Uranus. My name is Berg. My planet is Uranus.
Berg.
Uranus is awoken and seduced by. All right, so that's we go to Uranus. He's laying in his bed, passed out.
So I need to make a small confession. As far as astrology goes with Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, because it's not in the, it's newfangled stuff, that new age stuff. So I'm not great with it, but I do get the concept. And when I watched it, I did a little research, and I actually can't get these bits to make sense.
No,
but I have faith in Alejandro. However, I can see what's going on. I can read it, but I can't give you that lens of what the planet is inverted, because it doesn't make any sense to me.
well, I was like, "Where's Mercury? There's no Mercury in the Avatar room."
Well, the alchemist is Mercury, really.
That's what I'm thinking. It's
Yeah.
Thoth, Hermes, Mercury,
Good.
messenger of the gods.
He's not daft.
But yeah, it cuts to he's awoken by this sort of woman. She rides a horse naked. She seduces him. She seduces Mercury and has his way with her. And then we cut to her on the toilet.
So my only thought was that
And it's massive.
What?
I love the green grass as well. So she's sorry. Uranus is about rebellion and things like that, and new ideas and new things. So I think what he's doing here is just everything's new, everything's different. Discard it. Oh, do this, do that. It becomes decadent. It's everything's disposable again, and just easy to take to the nth degree. But again,
I don't know. I like my Greek mythology's shit, really. It would have been Uranos, wouldn't it? Oh, you.
Uranus.
And because we get Neptune in a bit, and I think, oh, well, that's Poseidon.
Yeah, I mean, this is coming from the Gurdjieff element that he's gone from the 7 to he's just changing things up a bit. I can see why I do it, because these are more mystical ideas, skipping out the lower planets, because you're not talking about the sun or the moon either.
No. Well, I think the written woman maybe is the moon. Represents the moon.
They're clearly in there at the beginning. They're all over the beginning, but they're not as explicit as they are here.
Yes, right, yeah. Cut to the toilet. They live in a one-bed-sit hovel. It's a shithole.
But it's got all these decadent things in there, and it's like, it's also kind of lavish, isn't it?
They have a really tall toilet. She asks him.
Throne.
Yes. Our window is the wrong size. I don't like it, Mummy says. Berg, we have an enormous hole in the wall. Close it up, which he does. He closes the window for some reason. Don't get it. They prepare a bottle of milk and approach a cot. Blah, 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 blah. Our little baby is hungry, she says. And the little baby turns out to be a python. And again, it's that dangerous animal again is present. Maybe.
Yeah, well, life force is the main, if we're dealing with the occult, it's the life force. But yeah, the life force is a dangerous animal. It makes you do stupid shit.
So they feed the snake, and interesting. Well, first, before we get there, they move next door into the workstation. We've got all this Peru. We've got Central America there on the map. This flag, I tried to find it. It's made up, I think. But it's got those sort of like yellow, red, and blue on a national flag. You think Colombia, lots of South American countries use those three
They're
colours.
trying to make the United States of South America.
Hey,
I wonder if you, I wonder
good
if you
shout.
count the stars, if it's the same amount of countries in South America.
Well, they're crescent moons, I
they?
think. But yeah, they look like the stars.
Yeah, it's
So I
just
sang a banner.
The layout is
You know what? They missed a trick. They should have been yellow and red stripes. To, like the
Cuban.
No, like the USA flag. Red and white stripes.
Isn't Cuban flag like the American flag, but just
Oh, is it?
yeah,
Don't know.
similar. Yeah,
Right.
something like that.
She dresses the python up in a similarly coloured sort of knitting tea cozy.
Doctor Who's scarf, that.
It is, isn't it? That's the one that I remember.
Oh my gosh. Have you finished the report? She asks Uranus. No. And then an alarm goes off and there's a big commotion. The president wants the report. And it's cracking. All right, what's going on? So they go from this like bedsit hovel to this tiny office space. They walk through this big door here. And again, talking
nice.
about locations, they find this really opulent location to film in. It's like a frigging palace, isn't it?
It's like Darth Maul's going to come through that door. There.
Look at that chandelier.
Mm.
We have the flag in background again.
8.
Acrosia.
Sorry, I just need to turn the
Well,
page.
there's more than 8 countries in South America, isn't there?
Unless it's maybe Central America, I don't know. They move through a doorway from squalor to decadence. Their attire reflects the change as well in the scenery. Look, they go to wearing tails and ball gowns when they enter this opulent area. So we get a voiceover from Uranus. I am financial advisor to the president. So he's a money man. They have to deliver the report to the president here in Mustard via gunpoint. The kind of prisoners to the system. It seems that's what they're getting at. To save the country's economy, Uranus says, we must eliminate 4 million citizens in the next 5 years. Just a quick one. He's wearing a pentagram medallion. Don't know if that's significant. And you can see there the crescent moons on the flag. So the president gets his report, right? We need to get rid of 4 million citizens. Begin the operations of the gas chambers, gas schools, gas universities, gas libraries, gas museums.
Outhouses, doesn't he say?
Hey?
Does he say gas outhouses?
Whorehouses.
Whorehouses.
Etc.
Does he say etc.?
He does. Yeah. We cut to outside, so they're in the grounds of this palace, and what's made clear from this scene is that this couple, Uranus and his mother, lover, they can't go out in public without an armed guard. The people pulling the financial strings can't go out in public without an armed guard. What did we see? That execution on the street of New York, was it, a few months ago? From an insurance company exec who was adjudged by someone to have made immoral decisions when it came to health insurance, and he was killed on the street.
Yeah.
If you push it too far, your corruption, your immoral, the way you're tied to this financial shithole system, you won't be safe on the streets without an armed guard. That's what I think they're sort of alluding to.
Yeah, I agree.
Here. Armed guard in public. They decide to have a picnic, and it's like a wedding cake with 2 brides rather than a bride and groom, I think. And what's weird is they choose to have the picnic right underneath an aviary. And there are constantly birds flying into this aviary and shitting on the table, and Uranus has to keep cleaning it up. It's like patching the financial system together. Oh, just a bit more quantitative easing. We'll just borrow a bit more money. We'll put that on the never. Oh, the pension system isn't a pyramid scheme, honest. It'll be there when you retire.
Well, yeah, but it's to keep his, because he wants that big decadent cake,
Yeah. Well, his mother picks up one of these brides and bites the head off it. And Uranus is furious with that, and he picks the bride off the top of the cake and stabs it in the cake and says, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. So it's like he's trapped in the system and he can't get out.
It's almost like he is the system that's trapped in the system. Become an egregore,
Cut back to the tarot room, and we're introduced to Neptune. My name is Axon. My planet is Neptune. I am the chief of police. And this is the castration scene.
How much did that cost? All those people, all those costumes.
So
there's not much costume, but
we've got a massive wide shot of, I don't know how many hundreds of people there are there, a couple of hundred extras at least, lined up around like a sacrificial podium, you could say, where a guy's strapped down, legs akimbo.
Yeah, about to be initiated.
We've got all the flags there, the Mercury. So it's like a trident, like Poseidon, not Mercury, Neptune. It's like an upside down trident with a circle on top. Again, it seems inverted. The trident should be pointing up usually.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the actual normal symbol.
For Neptune.
No. But that's fine. You can, as long as it's a symbol for Neptune, then it symbolizes Neptune.
Yeah. Yes, ritual castration. I couldn't take many screenshots of this. Neptune's hand holding a giant rifle. He's symbolizing the police in this.
Yeah, and there's a mysticism here as well, and a belonging, and it doesn't seem like he's very corrupt, does it? He's
like, a true believer.
He's a true believer.
In Eric Hoffer's definition.
They are giving up their sexuality, one of the main drives of being a human to be a true believer, to join the cult.
They're making themselves subservient to a book, which we'll get to in a minute, which is robbing them of their masculinity.
Yeah, there's a mysticism here though as well. Neptune is like a mysticism planet, as I remember.
The young lad is castrated, and then we arrive at Neptune's house. Look how he's foreshadowing the sculpture behind him with the raised arms.
I note as well, he takes him upstairs, with a gentle hand. He takes him upstairs, and there's a bit of a pederast vibe going on there.
Yeah.
Despite the castration.
Well, a eunuch. Eunuchs are often used like that in the classical world. Fortunately, this is the most beautiful day of your life, Neptune says to the victim who's been castrated. Of your own free will, you came to surrender part of your body to me. You decided to undergo the initiation that 999 other heroes have passed. Heroes. Lionizing people who've given their sex up for this. Your sacrifice completes my sanctuary of 1,000 testicles. And there they are. In the wall, and he puts the last one in there.
Jim fixed it for you. Jim fixed you for it.
This I found absolutely fascinating. So he says this is like the cult aspect you talked about. This is the holy book, and I think this is statute. It's law.
The law.
Honestly, the amount of people who say, "Well, it's the law." The thing you hear in the culture, democracy and the rule of law. Like the rule of law is engraved in our culture, how important it is. It's politicians' scribbles on paper is all it is.
Well, don't get me started.
Yeah. If 51% of the people agree, you can write a law banning pink hair, right? That doesn't mean it's right. But people lionize it and they talk about the rule of law. We stand for the rule of law.
You don't though, do we?
It's nonsense.
If they did, I could give you some respect, but you bloody don't. You just say you do.
The rule of law justifies people acting in horrific ways because they have a piece of paper backing them up, even though they know it's wrong. But it's the law. You were doing 31 miles an hour. So, a million examples. Learn to believe in me, he says, the book of the law. So we see how the law is used. Neptune, here he is, trotting out with his riot police to break up civil unrest. We have a lot of hippies protesting. They're probably protesting the upcoming war against Peru.
Yeah, they probably are.
Yeah. So it ends bad. we have this sort of bloodbath, but this is where I was getting to earlier when I was saying I think this is intentionally fake.
Yeah.
There's one scene where the Neptune forces are spraying the people with red blood. They're not beating them; they're spraying them with red blood. The kind of guys being shot here, it just doesn't look right.
It's like fear. It's like the...
They're pulling red ribbons out of people's chests.
It's almost like the threat of violence more than the violence itself.
It made me think agent provocateurs, false flags.
Yeah.
Creating incidents to justify a reaction.
Problem reaction.
The guy with the was it not the LA riots, but in the 2020 Summer of Love, guy with the hammer.
Yeah.
In the dark glasses, just smashing shop windows. He's obviously a Fed.
Yeah.
And he's this is what the state will get up to. It looks intentionally fake. Agent provocateurs, propaganda. On is the truth and the power and the light. Oh, so we've got more. I've just got more screenshots of he's pulling stuffing out the guy.
Yeah.
It's so fake. We have a fruit motif, strawberries. Different scenes have like.
I love those
food
petals.
stuff.
She opens her arms and the petals fall out.
That one, yeah. These are like gummy bears.
It's also symbols of innocence, though, as well. I think, that these were what was inside these people was beautiful.
Yeah, it just doesn't look right.
I love the smoke as it comes in, and there's a guy, if you notice, that you can see him looking up. The guy he looks up at the camera the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, you ruined the shot. You ruined the shot.
You could call them crisis actors.
You are crisis.
It could be crisis actors. And then it cuts back to the testicle room. Learn to believe in me. This on is the truth and the power and the light. So he's talking about the book of the law, I think. Holy shit!
It's an idol, isn't it? It's
10:30. We're never getting through this, man. In a million years. Continue.
Well, we can do the quick version. Well, we got through the main bits, really.
There's too much, man. It's too much to go through, I think, in one night. Right, let's power on.
Well, you put the brakes on it when you're ready.
We cut to the avatar room, but the setting's different. Rather than being naked, zoom in with a plain wall behind him, we have Jupiter appearing, clothed with the sun disk behind him, which was a strange choice. Again, whether it's a artifact of editing or what film that they had, whatever they had on film, I don't know, but maybe it was a reshoot, I don't know.
Well, it's more like the planets are somewhat enlightened, something like that. He's the king of the planets, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it's like a ding moment for those 7 badly aspected planets.
Halfway through the notes now. My name is Loot. Oh, is it Loot? Hang on. Have I skipped one?
Clem.
I've gone to Loot.
I think it is Loot, isn't it?
No, Loot is Pluto.
Oh, Pluto.
7, 8, ritual castration. Oh yeah, it is Pluto. Sorry, you're right. It's not Jupiter, it's Pluto. So, all right, okay. My name is Loot. My name is Pluto. My business is architecture. There's this weird sort of hide and seek game he plays with these characters who look like Minnie Mouse or Mickey Mouse. This is his house, his architectural house, and he's hiding from these kids, and it's a game, and the music reflects it. And eventually they find him. And anyway, his big deal is building these multi-family complexes. It shows Pluto with his entourage here, dressed to the nines, walking through this sort of urban area where everyone's decrepit and on crutches and maimed. And he has a solution for our problems. He's going to give a big presentation here at this basketball court.
In the sports arena.
And he's got a conductor's thing as well, which is interesting. He's dressed like a space conductor. Every person at this line table has a different type of drink for some reason, rather than just, regular table wine and water. Don't know why. But he's come up with this new system that people will live in. It's a multi-family complex. Oh, sorry. When we built this multi-family complex, so like what we live in now, we made a big mistake. We lost money. We gave them small gardens and windows. We installed water, lighting, heating systems. This was a wrong concept. Man doesn't need a home. All he needs is a shelter. If we can sell him on the idea of a shelter, we can make millions. A worker will only come here to sleep. He won't need electricity or water. He won't have to cook. We'll condition him to eat at the factory. And then these little trucks at the bottom. These are communal latrine trucks for the entire building. They suck all the shit up.
It looks like the Matrix, doesn't it? You know, when they're all in those pods.
Oh yeah, with the. It's a 15-minute scene. You get your little pod, and you'll own nothing and be happy.
Eat the bugs.
We've got a big ice sculpture of a phallus. Those ladies are enjoying it. We get this dancer appear. He is part of this show, this big unveiling of the new kind of living pod that Pluto has invented.
It's a coffin.
Yeah, it's a coffin. And this lithe.
Nicely thought there. Perfect.
Took a couple of goes to get that without showing her any side boob. She's coaxed into the coffin and has a whale of a time. And this is his propaganda. Be a free man without a family, without a house.
Without a house.
The city of freedom. You know, because there's something sort of alluring about having not being tied down. I remember a phrase hearing in my youth. I don't want to be tied down with a mortgage. I'm going to rent. I don't want to be tied
Forever.
down. For a family. So that's what he's sort of playing on. This sort of masculine urge that sometimes occurs to
be free.
Be free, but actually you're not, because you're going to be stuck in one of these pods with a communal latrine. And again, production design. These are all handmade, these little fucking models. It's mad.
100 meters high.
They must have had those Peruvians working on it.
Yeah.
Cheap workforce.
And that's the end of Act 2. Because now we cut to the tower and we have a helicopter arrive, and the helicopter is bearing these avatars, these planets. And this is like the start of the quest, basically. We've now introduced all our characters. It's time to start the quest. But
you will go on a journey.
It's
on a different episode.
I think we've been on a journey tonight. It's 20 to 11. I can't think of a better place to stop. I can't sorry,
I got
Ryan,
tired eyes.
No, do not apologize.
I can watch this next bit now then. Because I think I got up to... did I get to Saturn? No, I didn't get to Saturn. A little bit after Saturn somewhere. I think I got to
Mars, maybe.
It was the woman in the decrepit house, and then goes into a hall.
There's a bit too much of an information dump at that point. I think it's the symbolism's like rife at the beginning, but it's sparse and light enough that you can cope with it. But I think it all slows down a bit by the time you get to the end of the planet.
It becomes more spiritual as it goes along.
Yeah, the film gets good again now, though, and it starts moving again.
Yeah, well, yeah. Again, it's the start of the quest. This is where you're enticed to find out what's going to be at the top of the holy mountain.
Yeah,
and it's well worth sticking with it.
When are they remaking it?
Yeah, I mean, they're remaking The Naked Gun, I believe. So
with Liam Neeson,
who would play the thief in the remake?
Henry Cavill.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
who would play the thief?
Rowan Atkinson.
I think you'd want like a rock musician or something like that. You need somebody that was a bit haggard looking.
Iggy Pop.
Yeah, young Iggy Pop.
Perfect.
Right.
Jennifer Aniston, as is also known
as Iggy Pop. I've never thought of that.
You know, there's a famous meme, isn't it? Was it 2020's been a rough year for Jennifer Aniston? It's got a picture of Iggy Pop on it. I love that meme. I think we should.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
It's just too much. When you messaged earlier in the week, said, "Oh, we'll get through in one night," I thought, "Oh fuck."
I didn't know you had 14 pages of notes.
Yeah, well,
And 500 stills.
thing is, it deserves it. It
Oh, yeah, it's
deserves
a
the
smashing
depth
film.
because
This is a legacy project. We'll get old and we'll go, yeah, but we did that two-parter about that Jodorowsky film. We got our impressions.
yeah,
Mm.
you are excrement.
You are excrement.
Joe, I keep forgetting
Joe.
Joe excrement.
Joe. As in,
The same force which the vulture uses to grip grip the ox is the same force the ox uses to receive the vulture's grip. I got it wrong, but whatever.
We'll
It's fine.
reconvene in the future, not too long, a month or two maybe.
I'll learn another sentence in that time.
Yeah. I want to get, I was thinking, are we going to get to the Pantheon bar? No. I tell you what, though, I'm never leaving that. If I was
It's
on this
fun, that
spiritual
Pantheon
journey,
bar.
I won't get past the Pantheon bar. I'd be there for eternity. I would definitely fail in this quest, but it just looks a hoot.
I love that fat guy, the fat old hairy guy. I am Hercules or something like that. He says, I can go to the holy mountain and conjure myself to the other side immediately.
Horizontally. I think he represents materialism, but we'll get to that next time.
Get to that.
There's three people that they meet who represent different things, and well, for another time. I can relax now.
you
Yeah.
can,
It's
can't
been
you?
intense for me.
I think you
For
enjoyed
a
that,
week.
though.
Yeah,
Hasn't
all week. Yeah, I've been working
Mm.
on and off because there's so much, and
We want another 16 pages of notes now for the second half. We'll do 24.
We're
Yeah, no,
halfway
cool.
through the notes.
I want 25 pages for the second half.
Nope.
Are we actually halfway through the film? I think we're
Yeah,
a bit
yeah, it
further
was-
than half, aren't we?
Yeah, 40 minutes left, it said.
We're an hour and 14 in.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
40 minutes to go.
Yeah. It's a dense chunk, but not as dense as that last bit was.
No. And it's more overarching, I would say.
Yeah, it's like
messages.
it's like that. We've kind of cleaned up the human now. We've done the purgative rituals, and now we're gonna actually set out on the journey to go and do the thing and examine the consequences of those actions, which include leopard breasts, squirting milk, old men leopard breasts. What else does it have?
Dogs
Just
fighting.
yeah. Oh, yeah. it's not-
Tarantulas. Oh,
Yeah,
Christ.
that tarantulas, guys. Poor fella.
We
I
should
don't
have
mind
had-
stuff like that, but most people do.
I was going to say we'd have to put a trigger warning up next time because that seems I've never seen so many
Tarantulas.
tarantulas on a screen before.
Mm. Not
You're
even
right.
on arachnophobia.
These are real. These are real ones.
Yeah, it's like they just covered him in honey again and stuck him on.
Look, a load of tarantulas on him.
It's like, the scene from, with the Wet Bandits. And when Marv gets a tarantula on his head,
Right.
times that by 100, and we're approaching
Yeah.
the terror of that scene.
Mm.
Any final thoughts before we sign off, chaps?
Pretty mad, isn't it?
I have a very slight announcement.
Oh, go on.
I finished my book.
Oh, no.
Oh, excellent.
I mean, I've got to go through it and polish it up. And I know there's a few notes in there that need writing up that I'd discovered later on and put back in. But yeah, oh my God, I worked hard. But yeah, it's done.
Excellent.
Oh, I need to write the conclusion, but I think you should write that at the very end.
Mm.
That and a little bit at the beginning.
Don't write the conclusion when you start.
Well, it would be good to write the conclusion when you start and then the start when you've concluded.
Work
Yeah.
your way back. Are you doing any editing
Of the book.
of the manuscript?
Yeah, it's like 120,000 words. It needs to be probably be about 90.
What's that in pages, roughly?
I got no idea.
No.
A normal book is 70,000 words.
So that would be, what, like 300 pages, maybe?
Something.
So what you're at?
120. So nearly two
Shit.
books. Yeah,
So-
nearly two.
Because it's cost as well, you see. Is it something you could break into 2 books, do you think? Or
I don't want to. I'm just going to edit the fuck out of it. I like that somebody said, I don't know who I'm quoting, and I'm paraphrasing anyway. I wrote a 110,000 word book. I would have written a shorter one if I'd have had longer to work on it.
Mm.
Right.
And that's how it is.
So what's the plans for it moving forward? Have you got timelines and stuff? Do you know when I'm going to get a copy?
You'll be one of the first to get a copy. I want you to get a red pen out and
Think so.
and mark it. We'll arrange this later though. But I need a month to just let it settle and go through it again.
You want proofreaders? I'll
I
volunteer.
do. I would love you to proofread it.
But I'm not very good at English.
It's more the flow of things and what what you want about this for, kind of stuff. And would it not be useful to do this? Or you've said this word 16 times now. I know I use the word cosmic too much. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well done.
Look forward to
Yeah,
that. Do you
man.
think you maybe by end of year have it done? Ready?
Well, I'm hoping. I mean, I've got shit to do for the next couple of months because I've spent so much time doing this.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But let's say sensibly 2 to 3 months before it's ready, polished and everything's done and laid out in its final format. And I think I'm going to wait till then before I start shipping it out for a possible publisher. If not, I'll just publish it myself. But it's all in the publisher's hands if they want me.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. That's something to look forward to.
Really?
Right. I think we should sign off then.
It's been beautiful.
Yeah.
As
Well,
always.
It's been beautiful, full of paraplegic monkeys and child prostitutes and Jesus bumhole and
It's safe to say we'll be demonetized this evening. I was watching Union of the Unwanted. We got invited again last week, but it's on at stupid o'clock at night. It's like midnight when they start because we're in America. And I was watching it back, and they were talking about YouTube and getting demonetized, and because Ricky has had his channel reinstated after 4 years.
Oh.
Yeah, because he got shut down during the COVID stuff. And I just wish I was there because, like, I appeal every week. I have to do an appeal every week for our videos being demonetized, and then once everyone's watched it, they monetize it again. But, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Say it is what it is.
Because they said it is.
Because you are who you are, and that's why it is what it is. Isn't it?
it is,
I think so.
isn't it?
Right. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Beautiful.
Enjoyed your analysis. Look forward to reading the book. We'll be back. What? We've got a banana peel for 99p.
Yeah, I think Emma gave us £5 earlier as well.
A super chat.
Emma.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Emma. You'll get a producer credit next week.
Emma, I want you to know that the force which made you give the money is the same force which is the love of our gratitude.
Well said. Right. We'll see you next week. Knights Templars next week. With a South American connection.
Oh. It's Alejandro.
It's not Alejandro.
Oh.
Follow him on Insta, though.
Right.
The same force. No.
See you later.
Right.
Bye. Thanks for joining us. Bye.